Honey, you're gonna ruin your shoes. Now, why don't you just go back up to the house and change your clothes, and I'll find a saddle soap and...
You've forgotten in the last 2 days.
Well, I've had a lot on my mind.
I know that, darling. But things do look better, don't they?
Yes. I know Ryan's as upset about the slant drilling as we are, and I trust him to investigate it thoroughly.
And discreetly.
Well, I don't care how discreet he is about it.
Honey, don't you realize if it turns out to be true that it could ruin Justin?
Justin is stealing oil from our land, and it's just a matter of time before Ryan proves that, and that will be the end of Justin Marshall, oil tycoon.
I'm ordering the well to be shut down.
You can't do that.
I'm running World Oil now. This is a World Oil project, so I'm calling the shots. You got that?
You realize what this macho stand of yours is going to cost World Oil?
I don't care. I made my decision. Now, either you tell Bubba Wadsworth to close down production or I will. It's up to you.
I'll tell Bubba.
And make sure you tell him now.
I think Iris Wheeler will have something to say about this.
What?
Ashley, where's the tape? The one you made of Alex talking about changing his will.
You took it to your office. It's in the bottom drawer of your desk.
We're going to pay a little visit to Iris Wheeler.
Mrs. Wheeler, did you ever reach Dennis?
No. I've been trying all day, but he's not in the apartment.
Well, I think he's probably in the park. Ever since he got out of jail, he's been spending a lot of time in the park. Now that he's going back to jail, I'm sorry.
I'll continue to do everything I can to secure his release and have him exonerated.
I don't know how that's going to be possible, Mrs. Wheeler. Not unless they find that Joe Foster person. If he's the one who killed Chris Shaw, he's probably out of the country by now.
Wherever he is, I'll find him.
Wasn't he the one that was convicted for the murder of Chris Shaw?
Yeah, but Stryker Bellman got his sentence reduced from first-degree murder to manslaughter. Now, Joe, I'm sure that Stryker could do the same for you. He could lighten up your sentence if you would just turn yourself in. I could come and visit you whenever I could while you were in jail, and when you got out.
Hey, look, you know this Dennis Carrington?
Not very well. Why?
I was just wondering.
What's wrong?
Elaine, I gotta tell you something.
What?
I've been meaning to tell you this for a couple of weeks now.
Tell me what?
I killed Chris Shaw.
I don't believe you.
You don't have to come over here. I could handle things till Roy's feeling better.
Oh, I don't mind. Heck, it's a lot more interesting over here than it is listening to Mavis Hensley cussing out her ex-husband because his alimony's late again. Besides, I don't think you're up to doing much work today. Billy Joe, I hope you don't mind my saying this, but I think you ought to be grateful Mr. Parnell's letting you stay on here and manage the coop. I think it's real good news.
There's no good news for me, Bobby Sue. As long as I'm separated from Nita and my baby.
Will you look at that? Look what just walked in. Now that's what I call a real knockout.
Ruby.
But Joe!
Ruby. What are you doing here?
Well, you sure don't look very happy to see me.
Well, I'm just amazed, that's all.
Well, I tried to call you a couple days ago to tell you I was coming, but I couldn't get any answer.
Oh, where'd you call?
Your apartment. Then I got busy with one thing and another, and I didn't get a chance to call back.
Well, I was out of town a couple of days ago.
Oh, yeah? Well, I've been reading in the papers about how you're becoming a big wheel in the music business.
Well, yeah, I was up in Nashville taking care of some business for my client, Lena Decker.
Nashville? You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding.
Well, Nashville's where I just come from. I know that town like the back of my hand. See, I've been working in the music business myself there about the past year or so. Did Mom write you and tell you about how I was in the music business, too?
Last word I got from Mama was that she hadn't heard from you in more than a year.
Oh, yeah, well, it's true. I have been kind of bad about keeping in touch. What with one thing and another, the music business really keeps you hopping.
Well, last thing Mama heard was that you were working for some gospel music company in Atlanta as a secretary.
Well, yeah, that's how I got my start.
Ruby, this is a friend of mine, Bobby Sue Baker. Bobby Sue, this is my sister, Ruby Wright.
Well, it is a pleasure to meet Billy Joe's sister. I could see the family resemblance.
It's a real pleasure to meet you, too.
Thank you.
Billy Joe, my throat is absolutely parched. Now, do you think you could get me a nice cold beer while I go freshen up a little bit in the ladies' room?
Yeah, sure.
Ladies is right that way.
Thank you. I'll be right back.
Your sister really is something.
Yeah, she really is.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Louie. Hey, you look real pretty today.
I just had my hair done.
Looks nice.
I had it fixed like your sister Jenny wears hers.
I like it. I like it a lot.
What happened to your wrist?
Oh, when the horses got a little carried away. It ain't no big deal.
How's your undercover investigation going?
Well, I tracked down, thanks to you, I tracked down that rigger that had the fight with Bubba.
How did you find him? I didn't even know his name or what he looked like.
Well, I just used, some of the undercover techniques that I learned,
Did you get any information that might prove Bubba's an international criminal?
Well, I got some, but it's kind of a slow process. But thanks to you, I'm making a lot of headway, though.
I'm happy and sad at the same time.
How come?
Well, because once you're through with this assignment, you'll be moving on to another city and another assignment.
No. I'm going to give up the undercover business after this thing's over. I like ranch life a lot,
So do I.
Good. So what's going on over at your place now?
Oh, they just keep pumping that black gold out of the ground as fast as they can. And Bubba's running around hollering and screaming at everybody. He makes more noise than that machinery and all those guard dogs combined. He had another fight today. Thought you might want to check it out. No, I don't believe you, Joe.
Well, you better believe it, because it's true.
Dennis killed Chris. He confessed.
Well, then he confessed to a murder he didn't commit.
Yeah, but the police said that they found the murder weapon right near Dennis's hand.
Sure they did, because I put it there.
Why are you telling me this?
I guess it's just been on my conscience too long. And I wanted to tell you before I left.
I found Chris's body.
I know. And that's another reason why I waited to tell you till now.
Why did you do it, Joe?
My boss sent me to find the key. The key that Bernie stuffed in that teddy bear that he gave you.
Yeah, but Chris didn't have that key.
Well, we didn't know that at the time.
What did Chris say to you?
We got in this big fight. He had me pinned down on a table and he was choking me with his hands. And I just reached for the nearest thing I could find and I hit him.
Paperweight.
Honest, Elena, I didn't mean to kill him. But when somebody's choking you to death, you don't think too clear. You just try and get him to stop.
Dennis was sentenced to prison.
I know.
For 5 years, Joe.
Hey, look, there ain't nothing I can do about that. But he's eligible for parole in 2.5 years.
Joe, you can't let Dennis go to jail for a murder that you committed.
It wasn't murder. It was self-defense.
I don't care what it was, Joe. You have got to turn yourself in.
Paige sold her share of the ranch to Justin.
Kate said that Paige told her she had no reason to sell. Why would she turn around and sell to Justin?
Because she's Mean and vindictive.
Well, did she do it just to hurt Kate?
I think she did it to destroy Kate. Paige didn't even give her a chance to make a counter offer.
I'm really surprised.
Well, then you don't know Paige, because nothing she does these days surprises me.
If I'd have thought that she was seriously going to consider selling out to Justin, I'd have tried talking to her.
You would have been wasting your breath, Max. She doesn't care about anybody but herself.
Well,
She's always been like that.
is Kate real upset?
So much so she wouldn't even talk. All she said was that Paige sold out. And she went upstairs.
Listen, I'll have a nice talk with Kate after she's rested.
She did say that she'd talk to Courtney, though. Courtney promised her that she had no intention of selling her share.
What about Barry?
I don't know whether Kate talked to him.
Well, I'm sure that Barry wouldn't sell no matter what. And he hates oil worse than Kate does, and, well, after losing Ginny, I'm sure he wouldn't want to give up the ranch, too.
Max, call him. Talk to him. Maybe he can reassure Kate.
I will.
Was the guy that he had to fight with, was he on the crew?
No, he was real good looking like a movie star, and he had on this expensive suit. Now, I've never seen anybody his age so handsome.
Huh. Do you have any idea who it was?
No. And I couldn't ask any questions with Bubba around. When he leaves, I'll try to find out more.
You say that those guard dogs are still up there?
Yeah. I made friends with one of them.
What, you made friends with one of those guard dogs?
I have a way with animals. I thought about being a vet for a long time, but I'm not very good at science. I'll be just as happy teaching first grade.
Yeah, well, with all the money your granddaddy's making, I mean, you ain't gonna have to worry about working.
That's true. It's always good to have something to fall back on in case you need it. In case you don't get married or something.
Yeah. I agree with that.
If I find out any more information, I'll let you know.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate it.
Be seeing you.
Hey, wait a minute. Come here. Didn't, we talked about going out again, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Well, I was wondering, if you're free tonight...
I'm free.
Okay, I'll pick you up at 7, huh?
Okay.
All right.
Hello, Ashley.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Wheeler.
Iris, I appreciate your being able to see me on such short notice.
I always enjoy seeing Ashley, and it did sound important.
I'm concerned about Ryan Connor. There are some serious things going on. I think you should know about them.
Why don't we sit down?
Would anybody like anything cold to drink?
Not for me, Vivian.
No,
Thank you.
thank you.
Brian and I have been at odds with each other for some time now. I've made no secret of the fact that I think he pushed Alex too hard, but the last time we discussed it, you defended him, so...
Well, that was before I found out what happened, Iris, on the day that your husband died.
Mrs. Wheeler, you remember that last day. Mr. Wheeler asked me to come in. He had some business matters he wanted to discuss.
Yes, darling, I know, but you were only doing your job.
Ashley made a tape recording of a conversation with Alex.
Standard practice.
Iris, I think you'd be interested in hearing the tape.
It may be very difficult for you.
I want to hear it.
Well, I've been reading some wonderful things about you, Billy Joe.
Well, yeah, where'd you hear that?
Billboard, the trade papers.
You read those things?
Everybody in the music business reads them if they're serious.
Well, yeah, I read them from time to time.
Well, it sounds to me like you found the pot of gold at the end of your rainbow.
Yeah, I found it. And I lost it again.
Well, that record of Elena Decker's must have done pretty well, even if it isn't on the charts anymore.
Did all right, only we made a lousy contract. I'm not going to make a whole lot of money from it.
Well, I'm sure her next record's going to be even better.
There might not be a next record.
Why not?
Elena doesn't seem to want to perform anymore.
Oh, I read about all those terrible things that kept happening to her. Poor thing, it sounded like she was caught in the middle of some awful movie.
I'd just soon not talk about it anymore, Ruby, if you don't mind.
You and Elena have a falling out?
No, we didn't have no falling out.
Well, then what are you moping around like this for?
I got a lot of different reasons.
Well, it's obvious that I got here just in the nick of time. Seems to me that you could use some help from your little sister.
Ruby, how long are you going to be in Houston?
Just as long as I'm needed.
Where you plan on staying while you're here?
Well, I'm going to stay with you, of course.
Look, I told you before, I ain't turning myself in, so you might as well just forget about that idea.
Joe, if Dennis could get out in 2.5 years, so could you.
Oh, dream on. He had one of the best lawyers in Texas.
I bet Stryker would be willing to handle you, especially if it would mean that Dennis would go free.
You don't know what you're talking about. I mean, Dennis Carrington comes from one of the big society families. He's got loads of connections. I mean, they'd get me in court there, and I'd be in prison for 20 years.
But I would do everything I could to see that that wouldn't happen to you, Joe.
You're awfully sweet. But you're awfully naive, too. People like me don't stand a chance in this world. I mean, even if I hadn't done all the things I've done, they'd get me anyhow for standing on the corner or something. No, I can't turn myself in. And I can't wait for somebody to find me here. I got to get away.
Joe, I cannot let you do this. If you won't turn yourself in, I will.
Did you really do that?
I don't want to. But, Joe, I can't stand by and watch you send an innocent man to prison.
I thought you cared about me.
Joe, I do care about you. I care about you a lot. But don't you see, that's why I can't let you do this. Now, you've got to turn yourself in.
Well, then I got to get that money back.
Joe.
No, listen to me. If I can get that money back, then I can get out of the country, I can go wherever I want, the cops won't find me. Then I can send you a signed confession, and you can take it to this Stryker Bellman.
You promise?
Yeah, I promise.
Joe. Oh, you won't be sorry, I promise you. Then you're doing the right thing. Oh, Joe, we'll go away together.
Mrs. Wheeler. I'm all right.
Why did you wait until now to tell me about this?
I didn't want to upset you, and I knew it would affect you. I just didn't know when the right time would be.
So, she told me, Iris, and I suggested that the right time was now. You have every right to know how much Alex loved Dennis. He was so proud when Dennis acknowledged him as his father.
Yes. He was happier than I've ever seen him.
That was Dennis's greatest gift, Iris. Alex spent 25 years building an empire. That was his gift to Dennis. If Alex hadn't died, Dennis would be running World Oil now.
Those were Alex's wishes. They should be fulfilled.
Alex's wishes died with him, Iris.
Well, that can't be true. His words are right here on this tape.
I was just as concerned as Ashley about what your reaction to this tape would be, so I stopped by and talked to Stryker. He said that since Alex had never signed a new will, that the old one would remain in effect.
But Alex made it perfectly clear that he intended to give the company to Dennis.
It's the law, Iris.
It isn't fair.
I agree. I think that the only person that would agree that it is fair is Ryan Connor, because he still controls World Oil.
He was the last person to see Alex alive.
I know. I can only guess what Alex and Ryan talked about. Changing the will. That's probably why he asked to see him.
Well, I believe I'd better have a talk with Ryan.
Hi, Rena.
Hi, honey. Sit down. I don't see very much of you these days.
I've been staying in the house a lot.
Goodness gracious, what do you do in that house?
I work on my songs a lot.
Oh, does that mean you're going to be back at the coop again?
No, I'm not sure. Rena, I was reading in the paper the other day about how your father got Dennis Carrington's sentence reduced.
Yes, but he feels terrible that he wasn't able to get a suspended sentence for Dennis.
Well, when does Dennis have to go to jail anyway?
Oh, I guess in about a week. Can I offer you any tea or something?
No, thanks. Rena, what would happen if they found some new evidence that showed that Dennis did not really kill Chris Shaw?
Well, if that happened, I suppose they'd have to reopen the case. Unfortunately, Daddy doesn't hold much hope in that.
Yeah, but it could happen, couldn't it?
Well, from everything my daddy tells me, he says that the only person who could shed any light on the case is the man who kidnapped you. On the other hand, the police are pretty sure that he's out of the country by now.
Well, I was thinking, if Joe Foster really did kill Chris Shaw, and he read in a newspaper about the fact that Dennis was being sentenced to jail, maybe he'd mail in a confession.
Elena, I guess anything is possible, honey. But remember that a hardened criminal isn't usually the kind who mail a confession to the police.
But he is not a... Dennis must not be too happy about going to jail.
I don't imagine any person is very happy about going to jail. Daddy says that being in prison always changes a man, even if he's there for a little while.
Rena, I really have to be going now.
But you just got here, honey.
Well, I left something in the oven. It's probably burnt by now.
Hey, Max. I was just going to come looking for you.
Yeah, what for?
Lurleen was just here. She said that Bubba had another fight with somebody up there.
One of the crew?
No, it wasn't a crew. It was a guy that was wearing an expensive suit. And well, she said the guy looked like a movie star.
You know who she's talking about? She's talking about Ryan Connor.
Ryan?
Yeah.
Well, how do you know it was Ryan?
Well, Rena and I, we went into town early this morning, and we talked to Ryan, told him what we thought was going on out here. Well, he said he'd investigate, and then Guy said he saw him over at the Harper place, so that must have been who that Bubba was arguing with. I wish I could have seen it.
So Ryan thinks that Justin and Bubba are up there slant drilling too, huh?
Well, he must to come out so soon to check on it. And when he finds out it's true, he's going to kick old Justin right out of World Oil, and all our troubles are going to be over.
I sure hope so.
Lurleen getting to be too much for you?
No, Lurleen's the only good thing that's come out of this whole mess.
I'm glad to hear that.
Say, listen, how long do you think Ryan's investigation's going to take?
Well, not more than a couple days, I think.
Good. The sooner the better, you know, because I'm getting real tired of this whole undercover business.
Yeah, well, listen, Jim, you be sure and apologize to Lurleen for telling that story.
Yeah, well, as soon as Ryan finds out what's going on, I'm going to tell Lurleen the truth.
Yeah. You know, it's going to mean that Lurleen and her granddaddy ain't going to have as much money as they thought they were.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's big a deal to Lurleen. I think she'll be all right.
Well, I'll talk to Ryan Connor and make sure they get a little something when this is all over.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Mrs. Wheeler?
Yes, baby.
Are you all right?
Alex loved roses.
Yes, ma'am.
Why? Why? Oh, I heard Alex's voice today. A tape recording of his last words to his secretary. I had no idea it would affect me so. I'm so sorry. He was talking about Dennis. He was so proud that Dennis was his son.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
Don't mind me, Billy.
I just hate to see you so sad.
No, I'm going to be all right.
Do you want to go upstairs and take a little rest?
No. I'm expecting Ryan Carter shortly.
Oh. Well, he's going to get married, you know.
To whom?
Well, to Jenny Marshall. She's going to divorce her husband and she's going to marry Mr. Connor.
Oh, yes. Rena told me that.
I must remember to congratulate him. What's wrong with that?
I'm not too pleased with his behavior lately.
Oh, I thought he behaved like a perfect gentleman at the funeral. He didn't come over here,
That's
but...
because he was ashamed to face me.
Why was he ashamed to face you?
Because of the way he treated Alex.
How did he treat Mr. Wheeler?
Badly.
Oh. You think he pressured Mr. Wheeler into working too hard?
I firmly believe that Ryan contributed to Alex's stroke and to his death because of the demands he made on him.
Ruby, I don't think it's such a good idea for you to stay with me.
Why not? You got somebody living with you?
Me and my wife just separated.
Well, I didn't even know you were married.
It's only temporary, though. I'm not going to be much fun to be around these days.
Who was it? Somebody from back home?
I married Nita.
You mean that little blonde you used to have such a crush on in high school?
She was the only girl I ever went out with, Ruby.
Well, what made you split up?
It's a long story.
Well, anyway, if you and Nita are separated, that's all the more reason that you need somebody around to look after you.
I don't need anybody to look after me, Ruby.
Now, Billy Joe, you're just being nice, I know that. But I don't mind, really. Well, we could even work on some business projects together.
What kind of business projects?
Oh, just a couple ideas I've been toying with. We can talk about all that later. Right now, I'd like to unpack my stuff and hang it up before it gets a lot of wrinkles in it. Oh, I feel like I was on that crowded plane for about 10 years. Do you know that I had to change planes in Atlanta just to fly from Nashville to Houston?
Look, Ruby, if you want to, you can change over here in the office, but I can't go back to the apartment for an hour or so. I gotta wait till the band gets here so we can go over some new numbers.
I guess a couple more hours won't kill me. You in here every night?
Just about.
Well, all the time I was reading about the Coop being the place where Elena Decker sang, I was picturing something a little more glamorous.
What do you mean?
Well, I think this place could use a little more sparkle. You know, flash and glitter.
The customers like it just the way it is, Ruby.
There was this club in Atlanta where I used to go to a lot that was real glamorous. Now, I think we could fix the Coop up just like that place.
Fix it up how?
Oh, you know, get one of those bouncing bulls and put it over there. One of those reflecting balls in the center of the room. Throw a little more light around so you can see who's sitting at the next table. No, I don't think it's going to take very much at all to just perk this place right up.
I don't know why you are so upset, Ashley.
Justin, you just did a terrible thing to Ryan Connor. If I had had any idea of what you were up to, I wouldn't have let you get near Mrs. Wheeler, let alone me be a part of it.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, Ashley, you think I just committed some kind of a crime. All I did was tell Iris the truth.
You implied that Ryan Connor was glad that Mr. Wheeler was dead.
Well, I think he is glad.
Justin, Alex Wheeler is Ryan's uncle. He loves him. He confided in him. They had a close and wonderful relationship.
Well, of course they did. Ryan made sure of that. That's how he got Alex to turn over more and more power of the company to him. When Alex told Ryan that he was going to give Dennis the company, I'm surprised that Ryan didn't have the stroke instead of Alex.
Everyone at World Oil knows that it was Alex Wheeler's idea that Ryan take the job.
Well, that's what Ryan made Alex believe, so everyone else believes it. Ryan wanted power. He got it. And when he got the taste of it, he didn't want to be deprived of it anymore. That's what I think he told Alex when they were alone together in that hospital room.
You have no way of knowing what went on between Mr. Wheeler and Ryan in that room.
Ryan's the only one who knows that. I certainly wouldn't count on him to tell the truth about it.
Good afternoon, Mr. Connor. Come in, Ryan. Thank you for coming over.
Well, I would have been by sooner, Iris, but I had the distinct impression you didn't want to see me.
Sit down, please. We have to talk.
All right.
I want you to tell me about your last visit with Alex.
Well, it was hardly a visit, Iris. I walked into the room, and I saw he wasn't breathing.
He didn't say a word to you.
No.
Do you know why Alex asked to see you?
Well, I suppose he wanted to talk about the company.
It was to tell you he was planning on changing his will.
What?
Instead of leaving you and me and Dennis each 1/3 of World Oil, he was going to leave the entire company to Dennis. Dennis went to see Alex to acknowledge him as his natural father.
Yeah, I know that.
Well, Alex wanted his son and heir to control the company.
Did Alex tell Dennis that?
No, he didn't have a chance to tell him. He didn't live long enough. Nor did he live long enough to make the changes he wished to make. How very fortunate for you.
Justin, would you please tell me one thing?
What's that?
Why are you going after Ryan Connor with such a vengeance?
Shut down my oil well. Deprived me and my company of thousands of dollars, trying to embarrass me in the process.
Justin, he just did what any man would have to do in his position. He started an investigation.
I'm not slant drilling out there. I told him that. He is more willing to take the word of Max Decker than he is mine.
Justin, he just has to protect himself and the company. I mean, he has no choice. And once he has the investigation, everyone, including Ryan Connor, will know that you've done nothing wrong. Oh, Justin, I know that you're upset about this, but you don't have to imply that Ryan Connor is benefiting from Alex Wheeler's death.
But he is benefiting, isn't he? He's controlling the company now, Ashley.
Are you suggesting that he deliberately provoked Alex Wheeler?
Why not?
Justin, please don't talk like that. It scares me.
Ashley, I'm just trying to protect myself. My investment. Us.
Justin, I think that you're being deliberately vindictive, and I hate that. It's not necessary.
Ashley, you know this business. Sometimes it gets nasty.
Oh, of course I know that it gets nasty. But you don't have to sink down to that level. Mr. Wheeler never had to resort to tactics like that. And I doubt that your father did either. They were nice guys. And they didn't finish last.
Yes, they did. Both of them.
Elena stopped by for a few minutes.
How about this one?
Max, you're not listening.
Sure I am. Elena stopped by for a minute, and?
And she seemed nervous, jumpy. She seemed to have a hard time to concentrate on things, and all of a sudden she jumped up, and just like that, she ran off.
Yeah, well, it's Joe Foster. I mean, she was still a nervous wreck after being kidnapped in New York when that creep took her hostage a second time.
Honey, don't get excited, okay? You're only going to upset yourself.
Well, every time I think of a killer like that walking free with $1 million in his pocket...
Honey, I don't like it any better than you do. Think of poor Dennis going to jail for a crime that Joe Foster probably did. And ranting to Raven like this isn't going to help matters.
Yeah, but catching him and putting him behind bars would help Elena sleep better.
Daddy said that the New York police and the Houston police are still investigating him, so they'll find him eventually.
I hope so.
Come on, let's think about more pleasant things, okay? I want you to help me select some wallpaper for our nursery. Oh, no, I rather like that. That paisley, that's real sweet. Of course, that wouldn't exactly be appropriate if our firstborn turns out to be a son, would it?
If Joe Foster's out of the country, they'll never find him.
Max, Iris says if there's 1,000,000 to 1 chance that Joe Foster killed Chris Shaw, that she's going to make sure that he's found so that Dennis can be exonerated. And let me tell you something. When that lady decides to do something, she does it. And if she happens to be on the warpath against you, you don't stand a chance.
Joe? Joe?
Dear Elena, I'm sorry it had to end this way, but you gotta believe it's the best way for both of us. Well, what kind of a life would you have? The two of us spending the rest of our lives on the run from the cops? But I was serious about that promise I made you. Once I get my hands on that money, I'm gonna send you a signed confession that you can take to Stryker Bellman so Carrington can be set free. If I can find the money soon enough, maybe you won't have to go to jail at all. I'm taking something of yours. I hope you won't mind. You told me once that Bernie Bear was for good luck. Well, I'm going to need all the luck I can get if I'm going to find that money. P.S. I got one more thing I got to tell you before I sign off. Something I never could say in front of you. I don't know why I couldn't say it, except that, well, I never have said it to anybody before. I love you, Elena. And we'll miss you. I'm sorry for all the trouble I caused you. And I hope somehow you'll be able to forgive me.
I don't like what you're implying, Iris.
I'm not implying anything. I'm telling you outright. I think you pressured Alex into working much harder than he needed to work, especially after what he'd been through.
Alex set his own work schedule. I was just as concerned about it as you are. I was trying for a long time to get him to spend less hours at the office.
Well, of course. The less time he spent at World Oil, the more control you could have.
You know, there's just no winning with you, is there? First you tell me that I'm overworking Alex. Then you tell me that I'm trying to take over his job. Now, you're not interested in the truth. You're just going to believe what you want to believe, right?
I am not sure what to believe about Alex's last moments.
I did not walk into that hospital room, have an argument with my uncle about his will, and cause him to have a stroke. Now, that's the truth. Furthermore, if Alex had discussed the changing of the will with me and told me that he was giving over control to Dennis, I certainly would have gone along with it. I've always respected Alex's wishes. And I know just as well as you how much Dennis meant to him.
How touching.
Look, Iris, when Alex discussed the changing of the will with you, did he imply that I'd be angry with him?
He didn't discuss changing his will with me.
Then how do you know about it?
I heard it in Alex's own words.
Are you saying you didn't have a talk with him, but you know exactly what he said? How's that?
It doesn't matter how...
Well, it matters a great deal to me. Now I want to know who we discussed this with.
He asked Ashley to make an appointment with Stryker for him.
Ashley told you this?
She didn't have to tell me. She simply played the tape recording for me.
Ashley. And where Ashley is, Justin's not far behind. I should have known.
What makes you think Justin has anything to do with this?
Listen, did you hear these tapes today, earlier this afternoon?
Yes.
Well, now, Justin's very furious with me because this morning I closed his project down.
You've never cared for Justin, have you?
I've never cared very much for the way he does business.
Alex obviously approved of the way he did business.
Alex was willing to take a chance on Justin, just as he'd take a chance on anyone.
He's certainly done very well for World Oil.
Well, that remains to be seen. Now, I kept his project open because that's the way Alex wanted it. But if I find out that Justin was ever involved in anything illegal or unethical, then he's not going to be around World Oil much longer.
It remains to be seen how much longer you'll be with the company. Perhaps Alex had another motive in mind when he decided to change his will. Perhaps he'd come to the conclusion that you're not the man to run the company after all.
No, I'm fine, David. Thank you.
Good morning, Vivian.
Hiya, Mr. Bellman.
Morning, Stryker.
Doctor.
Hi, Mr. Grant.
Thanks for stopping by on the way to the office.
Well, it's silly to have you come all the way downtown when we live around the corner from each other.
Would you care for some coffee?
No, thank you.
Well, let's sit down. I spoke with Justin and Ashley yesterday. They told me of Alex's request to see you about changing his will.
I see.
Justin left the tape with me. Have you heard it?
Yes, I have.
It's obvious that Alex wanted to turn the company over to Dennis, and I want his wishes carried out.
That's impossible, Iris.
Why?
Alex's exact words on the tape were, "I want to change my will. My son is going to become Wheeler Oil." That doesn't constitute a legal will. It won't hold up in court. I won't even take it to court.
Very well, then. I'll hire another lawyer who will.
Oh, look. Oh, Ricky. Little dog.
You like it?
I think it's great. It's perfect, but, well, you shouldn't have done it. Every time he comes in here, he brings a present with him.
It's such a pretty blue. Billy Joe Jr.'s going to look real handsome in that.
Yeah, I know it's pretty hot right now, but that ought to come in real handy this winter.
Oh, I think it's the sweetest, most thoughtful gift. Thanks.
Well, if I'd have known that, I would have brought 10 of them.
Well, maybe next time.
No, I got to start saving my pennies if I'm going to be unemployed soon.
Well, lady, you can't let me down like this.
Billy Joe, if I get up on that stage to sing tonight, I know that I'm just going to be terrible.
Honey, you couldn't be terrible even if you wanted to. And we stop talking like that?
Billy Joe, were you here when KVIK came to record that show?
Yeah, but that was different, honey. It was a whole different type of tension you're under. That's all behind you now.
I'm sorry, Billy Joe. I just can't do it.
I just don't understand what it is you're so upset about now.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, man.
Hey, where you been?
It's over there at Barn 3. You know, Rena's got them high school kids cleaning up over there, and I was supervising.
Yeah, she's sure excited about that barn dance.
Yeah, whole ranch is excited.
You know, we're going to have more to celebrate than the building of our new house. We'll also be able to celebrate the end of the oil boom out this way, and when... What's the matter? Why are you frowning? Aren't you happy that Ryan's going to investigate Justin and Bubba, put a stop to their illegal oil operation?
Yeah, sure. I was just thinking about something else, that's all. When was the last time you saw Ricky?
Well, I don't know. A couple of days ago, he's staying in town, I think. Well, look at this.
found some of his clothes over in the hay. Are you still upset because that Joe Foster guy took you hostage again? Because that's over and done with, darling. You gotta forget all that and get on with the rest of your life.
No, that's not what it is, Billy Joe. It's just that I don't feel like singing tonight.
Would it help to talk to Uncle Billy Joe about it, huh?
No, I don't think so.
Elena, I'm not trying to push or anything. I understand what you're trying to tell me here, but we really need you here back at the coop.
I know that.
Well, you want to come back, don't you?
Well, of course I want to come back, Billy Joe.
Well, maybe if you just try...
Hey, Billy Joe?
Hi, Ruby.
What's up?
Elena, this is my sister, Ruby Wright. Ruby, this is Elena Decker.
Hi. Nice to meet you. Hi. Excuse me. Billy Joe, you didn't tell me that your sister was going to be in town.
Well, she just came in the day before yesterday, but she's just staying with me for a little while.
Yeah? I just loved your hit record. It's all over town.
Well, thank you.
Everybody in Nashville was talking about it.
Really?
Yeah. It's a nice little song.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. Are you from Nashville?
Well, I was working there for the past year or so. In the music business. I can't wait to hear you sing.
Well, you just may have to wait, because Elena don't feel up to singing just yet.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I know you've been through a terrible time.
No, that's not really what it is.
I know Billy Joe was really counting on having you sing tonight.
Only if Elena feels like it, Ruby.
Well, I thought you told me the coop was having money trouble.
I didn't say money trouble. I was just saying that there wasn't a whole lot of money coming into the coop right now.
Is that true, Billy Joe?
No, honey, there's nothing for you to worry about, sweetheart. There's nothing we can't handle till you're feeling more in the mood.
Why didn't you tell me you were in trouble?
It's no trouble, Elena. We'll manage.
I've been real selfish, haven't I?
No, you have not, honey.
Yes, I have, too. Billy Joe, I changed my mind. I am going to sing tonight.
Well, what do you mean unemployed? Rick, you haven't been fired, have you?
Oh, no. No, although I was thinking about quitting.
Well, I thought you liked working for World Oil.
Well, I did when Alex was around, but it's not the same now.
You used to work for Alex Wheeler?
Yeah, I was his private bodyguard, but since Alex died, I've just been sitting around doing nothing. It's getting real boring.
You're not going to quit your job before you find another one, are you?
No, but I was thinking about taking some time off, maybe traveling around the country for a while, but that's probably not such a good idea either.
Well, I think a vacation would be real nice. You haven't had one for a long time.
Yeah, it would be, but, fall is the time for job hunting, and I got to get myself a resume together and start looking around so I can get a jump on everybody else.
What kind of job are you thinking about?
Well, I don't know for sure.
You want to go back into police work again?
No, I don't think so. I think I want to do something different.
Different how?
Well, I don't know exactly. I'd like to do something that's really exciting, something with a future.
Well, now, I hear tell there is a world of opportunity in the restaurant business.
Yeah. Well, no offense, Maggie, but I think I don't exactly see my future going in that direction.
Well, speaking of the restaurant business, I think I better go check things in the kitchen. Angela, how you doing setting everything
Well,
up?
I've just about finished. All I have to do is check the salt shakers and change the specials and menus.
Well, we better go get started before the rush gets here. Come on.
Are you really going to quit your job at World Oil?
Yeah, I think so. Why?
Well, I don't know. I just always thought of you as being there.
Well, you and I have something in common now.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Well, we're both going to be starting over.
Iris, you're free to retain another lawyer, but he's going to tell you the same thing.
I simply want to see Alex's wishes fulfilled.
We don't know what those wishes were.
He wanted Dennis to run World Oil.
He never said that. He said he wanted his son to become Wheeler Oil. That could mean he wanted Dennis to own the company and Ryan to continue to run it.
I doubt that's what Alex had in mind.
Well, that's the problem. Alex never did spell out what he did have in mind. That's why it won't hold up in court. He stated that he wanted to talk to me about changing the will, and that's as far as it went. There's nothing we can do about it now.
If Alex had lived just one more day, Ryan Connor would not be running World Oil.
Well, as I understand it, Alex asked Ryan to run it about a year ago. Now, it seems to me that Ryan's got the right to continue doing that by virtue of his ability. I don't believe that my brother would turn his company over to somebody who didn't know how to run it, not even his own son.
I spoke in general terms to several judges who are friends of mine. They all agree the tape does not constitute a legal will.
Does Ryan know that?
I don't know if he even knows the tape exists.
Oh, he's aware of it.
Did you tell him?
Yes. But I believe he knew about it. I think Alex told him, and he argued with Alex.
I know you don't care much for Ryan because you thought he pushed Alex too hard.
He certainly did.
Iris, work did not kill Alex. I think you owe Ryan a debt of gratitude for what he's done for the company.
Despite what he did to my husband?
You're not implying that Ryan did something to Alex.
I'm just impressed by the coincidence. That's all. Alex was getting better. He decided to change his will in favor of his son instead of his nephew. And that nephew was the last person to see him alive. I intend to find out more about my husband's death.
Well, that's odd. I mean, what would Ricky's clothes be doing in a hayloft? He never goes out to the barns.
I don't know, man. It beats me. Maybe some drifter came by and stole him or something.
You noticed anything else missing?
No. No, I haven't. Of course, Max, you know, the house is open all day. Anybody could just walk right in and walk right out with something.
Yeah, well, you better start locking up just to be on the safe side, and I'll talk to Ricky, see if he knows about this next time I see him.
Yeah, I'm going to take this stuff up to the house. You know, I'm going to talk to Kate, too, because, you know, the house is open there all the time, too. She ought to start locking up, too.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Right.
Oh, Jim.
Yeah, what's up?
You know where Elena is this morning? I haven't seen her yet.
Yeah, Max, I talked to her for a few minutes. She's going to Houston today.
How do you think she's doing?
She's jumpy. She's real jumpy. I think she just wants to get back to singing, that's all.
That's how she got into all the trouble in the first place.
I know it, man, I know it, but she's got a lot of friends in Houston. And if that's where she wants to be, man, I don't know, that's where she ought to be, huh? Say,
Elena, I don't want you to feel like you're being pressured or anything, okay?
I think I've been just thinking about myself, Billy Joe.
Honey, if you're really upset, maybe you're right.
The only thing that matters right now, I think, is for me to concentrate on my career. Just hope you'll forgive me for being so silly these past few weeks.
You haven't been silly.
Yes, I have, Billy Joe. I'm sorry.
It's all right, honey. I understand what you're going through. I was just afraid that you were angry at me.
Angry? Billy Joe, how could I be angry at you? If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even have a career.
If it wasn't for that career, you never would have been kidnapped in the first place.
None of that matters anymore, Billy Joe. All that matters is that it's over.
Well, I just want you to know that I understand. I know what you've been going through after what that Joe Foster guy put you through, blindfolding you like that, and you never knowing where you were.
This is it. What's wrong?
I've been here before.
You got a pretty good memory for someone who was that doped up.
I guess you need time to get over something like that, huh? What's wrong, Elena?
I gotta go.
Go where?
I gotta go.
Oh, Elena, you all right?
I'll be back tonight, Billy Joe.
Elena!
Well, what was that all about?
I don't know.
You think she's gonna show up tonight?
If she says she will, she will.
Are you sure she's playing with a full deck?
Something's bothering her.
Obviously.
When I was in the funeral home, I met quite a few of Alex's friends.
Yes, I suppose you did.
I also heard quite a bit about Ryan's effort to keep Alex alive after he'd been shot. He talked Kevin Cook into forging a death certificate. He hired special nurses. And the agony that he went through keeping the truth from you in order to protect Alex. Now, it seems to me that Ryan thought a good deal about Alex. I got the impression that they had a very special relationship.
That's true. They did. Until the moment Ryan learned that Dennis had acknowledged Alex as his natural father. Then everything changed.
Forgive me, I don't mean to interrupt.
All right, darling. Where are you off to?
Dad and I are going to the Marshall Ranch,
Yeah, we're going to talk to Max Decker about a horse farm.
and I hope to do a little riding.
How come you don't have on your English riding habit?
I don't want to look at a place.
Not everyone in Texas dresses like a cowboy.
I feel comfortable in these clothes. That's all that matters. I hope we can find a horse farm soon.
Well, so do I.
I really like it here. I miss the farm.
I understand.
Why don't you come with us?
Oh, no, thank you, darling. I have some important business matters to take care of.
Is there anything I can do for you?
No, Grant, thank you. This is something I have to do on my own.
Yeah, now that's right. I want the special write-up first thing to see with the pickup menu. Nita? You seem sad.
Oh, do I?
You upset about Ricky talking about quitting his job?
Yeah, I guess I am a little. I don't understand why.
Well, you've got a lot of uncertainties in your life right now.
Maggie, Ricky and I are just friends.
I know.
Looks like we're all set, Maggie. I've finished putting the specials on the menus.
Ah, good, yeah.
Oh, that is the cutest blanket.
Oh, isn't it? Ah, but Ricky really shouldn't have bought it.
Well, Billy Joe Jr. will love it.
Speaking of Billy Joe Jr., here comes Billy Joe Sr., and he's got a friend with him.
Maggie, that girl looks really familiar.
Hey, how's everybody doing this morning, huh?
Hello, Billy Joe.
Well, Billy Joe, this is Angela Perez. She's helping me out around here for a while right now. And, Angela, this is Billy Joe Wright.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Angela. I got somebody here I want you all to meet. This here's my sister Ruby. That's Angela Perez, Maggie Decker, and of course you remember Nita.
Ruby? Ruby, oh, gosh, I don't believe it. Oh, hello. Well, you look so different.
Better, I hope.
Well, of course. Maggie, this was the girl I saw walking in, the one that looked so familiar. I don't believe it.
You know each other then, huh?
Oh, of course we do. But I haven't seen Ruby since, I don't know, before Billy Joe and I graduated from high school.
It's been a while.
Ruby left home before she finished school.
Well, I just can't get over how different you look. Well, what have you been doing? I asked Billy Joe from time to time how you were, but he didn't seem to know. He hadn't heard from you.
Well, I've been bad about keeping in touch.
Yeah, Ruby's been up in Nashville. She's been in the music business.
Oh, really? What kind of job?
Well, Ruby's been an agent. She's been handling some real important singers. Ain't that right, Ruby, huh?
Our office had some real important clients. Well, you're looking good, Nita.
Well, thanks. About as good as a woman can look who's just had a baby.
Oh, yeah, well, Billy Joe told me all about that. I can't wait to see Billy Joe Jr.
Well, he's in the kitchen right now, sleeping.
How's he gonna get any sleep with Robert banging all them pots and pans?
Well, he kind of likes it. He thinks of it as a lullaby.
I guess he prefers it to the jukebox. Listen, I better go and check on him right now.
I'll do that, Nita. I have to get some things from the kitchen anyway.
Thanks, Angela.
Hey, look, I bought something here for Billy Joe Jr.
What is it?
Oh, well, open up and find out for yourself.
Oh, it's lovely.
Don't you like it?
Yeah, sure I like it. I like it a lot.
Well, looks like somebody beat you to it, Billy Joe.
Hey, wait a minute. This here looks identical to what I gave you. Who gave you this, Nita?
Look, Billy Joe, just forget about it, okay?
It was Ricky, wasn't it?
Is Mr. Wheeler upstairs?
What?
I just asked you where Mr. Wheeler was.
He's left.
Left for where?
He and Lacey have gone to the Marshall Ranch.
What for?
Going to speak to Max Decker about buying a horse farm.
A horse farm?
Yes, like the one they owned in the East.
We had a horse on my mom and dad's farm. Horses are sweet, but they're dumb. Pigs are
Now,
smart.
Vivian, please, I have other things on my mind right now.
Well, I suppose that means that Mr. Wheeler and his daughter won't be having lunch here then?
No, they won't.
Well, that's just too bad because Mr. Wheeler's daughter's always saying such nice things about my cooking.
She's a very well brought up young lady.
Then, what are you going to have for lunch, Mrs. Wheeler?
Nothing.
Something's bothering you. You've been thinking about something ever since Mr. Bellman left.
I have a very difficult task to perform today.
What kind of task?
Something that could possibly get me into a great deal of trouble.
Oh, Mrs. Wheeler.
Have the car brought around, Vivian.
Where are you going?
To see Dennis.
You shouldn't see Dennis whenever you have that look on your face.
I have no choice.
Well, can it wait? You might feel differently tomorrow.
No, it cannot wait.
What could be so important?
Vivian, get the car.
Oh!
Joe? I was asking you whatever possessed you to get this awful tattoo on your arm. What's wrong?
I was just thinking what it would have been like if we'd met in San Diego in school.
I bet that we would have been good friends.
Oh, you think so?
Sure.
I don't think so. I don't think you would have given me a second look.
I think I would.
Nah. You would have treated me the same way all the other girls from your background treated me.
And what kind of background is that?
Girls whose families got money.
My family does not have money.
No? I'd say any family's got a barn and a ranch like this must have some money.
This barn and this ranch belong to the Marshalls. And my father was just a foreman on the Marshall Ranch.
Yeah, well, I'd say your family still had more money than mine did.
You know, I do wish I had known you back in high school. Before you left home. Before you got messed up with all those awful people.
Who is it?
It's me, Joe. Can I come in?
Sure.
What happened to your hand?
Oh, it, didn't work.
I, didn't realize until this morning that this is probably where you'd gone.
Wish you hadn't come here.
Why did you leave me, Joe?
I told you why. In that letter.
You said you were going to give me a confession. You were going to clear Dennis Carrington.
I will. Hey, I haven't broken that promise to you. It's just that I'm waiting to get my hands on that money so I can leave the country. I'm a man of my word.
Are you? You said something else in that letter, Joe.
So?
Did you mean what you said?
I wrote it, didn't I?
Why couldn't you say it to me in person?
I just couldn't. I can't talk that way to people.
What way?
You know what way. All that romantic mush.
Is it much to tell somebody that you love them?
I think you better be going now.
I love you, Joe. I'm not going to leave you.
Could you check with Guy and see if when he wants to put that new roof on Kate's house? I talked to Barry a while ago and I promised him we'd take care of it.
Yeah, check it out.
Good morning. I'm looking for Max Decker. Is he around?
I'm Max Decker.
How you do? I'm Grant Wheeler. I met your wife, Rena.
Oh, excuse me, Jeb Hampton. I work with him here on the ranch.
Hi.
How you doing? Well, I got work to do. I'll see you boys around.
So, what can I do for you?
Well, I'm in the market for a horse farm. I heard that you know more about horses than anybody in Texas, so I figured that you're the man for me to see.
Well, now, I've read about you in the magazines, and I think you know a lot more about horses than I do. I've even seen pictures of your farm. It's very impressive.
Well, thank you. I was very proud of that.
Rena told me I had to sell it.
Yeah, with great reluctance.
Well, Dudley Jefferson, he's got a place about 20 miles from here. It's got pretty good stock. He's let it thin down over the years, but I think it's worth looking into.
Is it on the market?
No, but Dudley's sons, they've grown and they moved away. So he might be interested in selling to the right buyer.
Well, if you could arrange an introduction, I'd be mighty grateful.
I'd be real happy to. Say, you're not looking for oil land, are you?
No. No, I assure you, the only thing I'm interested in is horses.
Maggie, would you mind if you and Ruby let me and my wife here talk for a minute alone?
Nita?
It's all right, Maggie. Maggie and I'll just go over to the bar and get acquainted.
I have a few things I have to look after in the kitchen. Just holler if you need me now, Nita. You hear?
I will. Thanks, Mag. I guess I'll just mosey on over to the jukebox and see what they play in Houston.
How long ago was Ricky here?
He left right before you came. He only dropped by for a minute.
Just drop by, huh? Bring a present to my son? Now what right does he have to do that, Nita, huh?
I think it is real nice that he brings a present for the baby. I don't know what you're so upset about.
I don't like the idea of him coming around here trying to horn in when he knows you and me are having trouble.
Ricky isn't doing anything like that.
No? Well, it sure looks like that to me.
He has been very good to me.
What about me, honey, huh? I'm good to you, ain't I?
Joe, that is not the point. He's just got this way of making things so complicated.
I'm not trying to complicate anything. I'm just trying to work things out here with my wife. Now, is that such a crime?
Well, things are not going to work out. Not the way you want them to.
Now, Nita, I don't want you to go talking that way, please.
It's true, Billy Joe. Why can't you see that?
I can't see it because I'm not going to let it happen that way, Nita. I love you, honey, and I know you love me, too.
Yeah, I love you, Billy
You
Joe.
know, when people love each other, man, Nita, they need to be together.
We're going to be together. But we're going to be friends. I hope.
Nita, we're married. We're man and wife here.
There's something I want to give to you. Here.
Nita, I can't accept that from you.
Well, I can't wear it. Not after how I found out how you got that money to pay for it.
Nita, I'll pay for it with my own money. I'll get a second job if I have to, I swear. But
No.
please, I want you to have it.
No, I can't. I can't.
Nita, I know you're mad. I know that. And I know you got a right to be, honey. But please, don't go doing something like this out of anger. Okay? I'm begging you now. No, please, don't do it.
I am not mad. I'm the farthest thing from being mad. When you gave me this ring, I promised that I would honor and trust you. But I can't do that now. I can't trust you after what happened.
I'm real sorry to hear about your brother Alex. I didn't know him too well, but my brother Ricky worked for him.
Well, I met your brother Ricky a couple of times at the funeral home.
Rena tells me that Iris is holding up pretty well.
Oh, yeah. She has her bad days, of course, but I think on the whole she's doing just fine. Oh, this is my daughter Lacey. Lacey, this is Max.
You're Rena's husband.
Yes.
I met her at Aunt Iris's. I liked her very much.
Oh, thank you.
I'll meet you here.
Can I offer you something, Mom? Coffee, tea, anything?
Oh, no, darling, thank you.
I'm sorry I can't offer you anything more, but I'm not very good at domestic things, although I am improving.
Are you upset over your separation from Paige?
Do I look upset?
In time, you'll see that it was for the best.
Is that why you dropped by, Mom, to talk about Paige?
No, not at all. I came to tell you some rather bittersweet news. Justin Marshall came to me yesterday with a recording of your father's last words.
What?
Shortly before he died, Alex called his secretary into his hospital room. From what we can gather, he was going to change his will to make you the sole heir of World Oil.
He said all that to Ashley.
She carries a miniature tape recorder with her for taking dictation. She was recording their conversation when Alex told her that he wanted to see Stryker. He said that he was going to change his will now that he had a son.
Why are you telling me this?
Don't you see? That will was never executed. Alex's former will is left standing, and World Oil is divided evenly among you, me, and Ryan Connor.
So?
That's not what Alex wanted.
Look, Mom!
I don't think Ryan is the person to run the company.
Well, it seems to me that Ryan Connor is the only person who can run the company at this point.
He is not the person he would have everyone believe he is.
Look, setting aside the fact that Ryan is an excellent businessman and completely capable of running World Oil, I happen to think he's a very nice guy.
He's only out for himself.
I think I see what it is you're after now.
I need your help.
Do you?
We must take World Oil away from Ryan Connor.
What are you going to do if those guys show up? They were armed.
Joe, they got what they want. They're not going to come back here.
Look, both you and I can identify them to the police. Now, as long as we're still around, they stand to lose that money.
They're probably out of town by now. Maybe even out of the country.
We can't count on that. I still got a bullet wound as a little reminder of the last get-together we had.
And why did you come back here if you're afraid they might come back?
It's the only lead I got.
What are you going to do if they don't come back? Joe, you can't go looking for them yourself. Someone will see you and they'll turn you in. You need me.
All right, I need you. Does that make you feel any better?
Are you hungry?
Yeah, a little.
Me too. I was so upset this morning I couldn't eat a thing. Hey, listen, why don't I go to that diner, the one you took me to? They had good hamburgers. Would you eat a hamburger if I got you one?
Sure.
Okay. I'll be back. You know, it's not so bad to need someone.
Hey! Where you going with that saddle?
I'm going to ride the chestnut in the pasture.
Hey, this here's not a riding academy. It's a private ranch. You know, you just don't come in and ride a horse anytime you want there.
Well, who the devil do you think you are?
I work here.
For Max Decker?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Max Decker gave me permission to ride, cowboy. So why don't you just stay out of my way?
Wait a minute. Come here. Max didn't tell me about any girl coming in here, so why don't you just put the saddle down there where you're at, okay?
Well, maybe you better find your boss and talk it over with him. I'm going riding.
No, you're not going anywhere as long as I'm standing here, you understand?
Hey, whoa, what's going on?
Your hired hand thinks I'm a horse thief.
No, it's okay, Jeb. I told her she could take out one of the horses.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Who is that?
That's Grant Wheeler's daughter.
I'm sorry to be the one to disappoint you, but I have no intention of helping you dump Ryan Connor from World Oil.
You don't understand the situation.
Oh, I understand the situation perfectly. This is another one of your little schemes to gain control. Well, you're going to have to do that without my help.
You don't know what you're saying.
I do know that Ryan Connor has every right to be head of World Oil.
I was right about Paige, and I'm right about Ryan.
Look, I don't want to talk about this anymore. You know, you're as much the reason I went to jail as Paige is.
Don't say that.
It's true.
I did everything I could to keep you from going to prison.
You did everything but be honest. You know, Mom, I'm beginning to wonder if you know how to be honest at all.
You're talking to your mother, Dennis.
I know exactly who I'm talking to. The woman who tried to run my life for the past 25 years.
I've done more for you than anyone else on this earth.
Is that a fact? Would you like me to list some of the wonderful things you've done for me? First, you bring me into this wonderful world, and then you decide not to tell me who my real father is.
Well, it would have been wrong for the society we lived in.
Oh, yes, and society is very important to you, isn't it? It's so important that you took me away from my own father, because he didn't approve of your society. And then there were all my friends in Bay City. They had to come right from the right families. Jamie, Cecile, they all had to have the right credentials, didn't they?
Cecile would have made you a wonderful wife.
It didn't matter that she was in love with someone else, did it? You had to go and ruin that for her. Oh, and then there was Dawn, right here in Houston.
She was a silly, vapid little girl.
It was unimportant that I happened to love her. And then you had to enlist Paige's help in separating us.
I admit that was a mistake.
Yes, what you didn't count on was Paige and me falling in love.
I refuse to believe that you could ever love a tramp like Paige.
You know, Mom, that's your whole problem. You believe what you want to believe. You know, if you had your way, you'd go right on treating me like a little boy.
Are you finished?
Well, I could go on. The list is longer.
I'll tell you why I've treated you as a little boy. Because you've never stopped acting like one. You live in a world of make-believe. Witness your feeling for Elliot, the father you say I took you away from. Elliot left both of us, Dennis, when you were 10 and loved you so much that he didn't bother to show up again for 15
But
years.
I don't want to hear any more of this.
No, of course you don't, darling. You want to go on dreaming and blaming me for everything that goes wrong in your life. You condemn me for marrying Elliot when I was pregnant with you. It was 1955, Dennis. No one had a child out of wedlock in those days. You would have lived your life in shame.
Yes, but it would have been an honest shame, Mom.
Oh, wake up, Dennis. There is no such thing as honest shame. I did what I had to do to save you from a life of disgrace.
That's right. Mom always knows what's best, doesn't she?
I'm realistic. I trust my feelings.
And look what it's gotten me so far.
Love, social standing, financial security. My feelings have gotten you a great deal.
Yes, I'll be sure and point that out to all of my fellow inmates.
Oh, you do that, Dennis. You tell those poor, underprivileged boys how your mother ruined your life. How she loved you, protected you, made you one of the richest men in the world. And you hate her for it.
I didn't get it, Joe.
What do you mean you didn't get it?
The diner.
What about the diner?
I was pulling into the parking lot, and I remembered. And the men who took that money, one of them works at the diner.
Well, did you see him?
No, but now I remember why he looked so familiar when he showed up here. The one they called Gus. I saw him working in the kitchen that night that you and I went to the diner. I caught a glimpse of him when we went around the back, to park.
Well, why didn't you tell me this before?
Because I didn't remember till I just went over there. I only saw him for a second.
Well, now, did you just see him today?
No, I don't know. He might have been there, but I was afraid to go in. I thought he might recognize me. Well, what are we going to do, Joe?
We're going to get our money. That's what we're going to do.
You think the will would be shut down, right?
Well, I think it should be shut down by tomorrow.
That is, if Justin gave Bubba Wadsworth the order.
If he didn't, I'm going to go out to the Harbor place tomorrow and tell both of them myself.
Tell me, Ryan, what was Justin's reaction to your order?
Well, he was very angry. As a matter of fact, he went to see Iris.
Did you say Iris?
Yeah, it seems Justin's been playing some pretty funny games with Iris lately.
I think that you should tell Rena what Iris told you.
No, Iris has been so upset about Alex's death, I don't think she really knows what she's doing lately.
Just what is she doing, Ryan?
Justin played a tape for Iris that was Alex's last conversation with his secretary.
You mean Ashley, don't you?
Yes. Apparently, Alex wanted to see your father to change his will. He wanted to turn World Oil over to Dennis.
Do you think he changed his will?
He never had a chance.
Oh, I see. In other words, now Iris wants Dennis to run World Oil.
Rena, I don't think Iris knows what she wants.
That would be a first.
Listen, she needs a lot of time right now to deal with her loss. She's an emotional person. I'm not surprised at all that she's reacting this way. I just hope that she calms down eventually. Except Dennis is going to be in jail now for 5 years. I don't know how she's going to deal with that.
I think Justin's behind this whole thing.
No, I wouldn't doubt it.
You know he wants you out of the company, Ryan.
Well, I I think Iris has more sense than that.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey, Grant, good to see you. Hi, Ryan. Remember Max, Serena Decker, don't you?
Good to see you again.
I'd like you to meet Ginny Marshall. Ginny, my uncle,
Hi.
Grant Wheeler.
Nice to meet you, Grant.
Well, I'm pleased to meet you. Now, please forgive me for interrupting what is obviously a very pleasant evening, but I do have to talk to you, Ryan. Alone.
Sure, what's it about?
Iris. And Alex's death.
So, how does everything look for tonight?
I tell you, beautiful. I put the sandwich board out front, announcing Elaine is back, and we're going to have a big crowd tonight.
Well, then you ought to be making some good money tonight, huh?
Mm-hmm. Now that she's back, we ought to start pulling in them bucks.
Well, good. Then you won't mind my asking you for a little advance.
Hey, Ricky. How's it going? All right.
Oh, Ricky.
Hi,
Hello.
Mr. Parnell. Hi, Paige.
Hello, Ricky.
Well, what brings you to the coop tonight, as if I had to ask you? Yeah, I'm here to listen to my sister.
Well, how do I look?
You look fine. How about me?
You look real cute.
Well, thanks, but right now I want to look like somebody other than Elena Decker.
Well, you look like some beautiful blonde who just moved into town.
Joe, what happens if the man that shot you is in there?
Well, as long as he don't recognize me, I reckon it'll be all right. Okay. Here we go.
Clear everybody out.
No. Like Jenny said, they have to get dinner ready. So, is Iris still upset about Alex's never being able to have his will changed?
Yes. She believes that was his last wish.
And what is she planning now, huh?
She spoke with Stryker this morning. There's nothing she can do.
I mean, that's it?
No, I don't think that Iris is going to let go.
I think the best thing for everyone would just be to go to court and let the judge make the final decision.
It's not going to make any difference to Iris.
Yeah, that's true. Once she's made up her mind about something, that's it, right?
Well, I'm beginning to discover just how tenacious she can be.
Look, in all fairness to Iris, she's going through a pretty tough time right now. Hearing Alex's voice on that tape. Those were almost the last words Alex spoke. Has to be real tough on her. She's full of grief and she's angry and...
True. But her anger is directed against you, Ryan.
She's been feeling that way for quite some time, too.
Have the two of you never gotten on?
No, for a long time. She seemed to trust me. She was grateful to me for having helped out Alex.
Well, what about her complaint about your pushing him too hard in his work?
That's the strange part. When Alex was recovering from the attempted assassination, Iris kept encouraging me to get Alex back into a work routine at World Oil. Now she's been accusing me of having worked him too hard. You see, she's decided that I'm not the right man to be running World Oil, but I think I can deal with it.
Ryan, she holds you responsible for Alex's death.
What kind of advance are you talking about, Ruby?
Well, I'm talking about money. For all the work I'm doing.
What work?
Helping you.
I don't need any help, Ruby. The job I got here at the coop hardly pays for one person, much less two.
What about all the royalties you said you had coming in on Elena's hit record?
I already told you about that. I'm not making that much off the record because we had a lousy contract, and that what I do get goes to Nita and Billy Joe Jr.
Well, I don't think you owe Nita anything more than child support. She's the one that moved out on you.
She's still my wife, Ruby.
Well, I wonder if you're still going to feel that way if she takes up with Elena's brother, Ricky.
Nita wouldn't do that.
You told me that Ricky was...
I told you Ricky was after Nita. That's all. Nita loves me.
You sure about that?
Yes, I'm sure about that.
Well, anyway, Billy Joe, I don't know why you have to be so stubborn about money. I'm not asking for much, at least not right away. And I'm worth every penny of it. Come on, Billy Joe, I thought we were partners.
That's your idea, Ruby.
Yeah, well, I got a lot of good ideas.
Yeah, I heard some of your ideas. I ain't too crazy about them either. A bucking bull, a twirling ball that glitters. Come on, Ruby, I told you the coop ain't nothing like that.
Well, maybe it should be.
I want business to pick up around here, not drop off.
That's just like you, Billy Joe. You never were much of a dreamer.
I got just as many good ideas as you have, darling, only I'm a lot more practical.
Oh!
Ruby, let's not fight, huh? We did enough of that before I left home.
I don't want to fight either. All I want is to be paid for the work that I do.
What work are you talking about?
I'm the one that talked Elena into singing tonight.
I know. And now I wonder if that's such a good idea. If Elena thinks she's too upset to sing, maybe we should have just left her alone.
I don't believe you, Billy Joe. First you say you want business to pick up, then you're not sure if the person who brings in the business should be singing.
Ruby, you don't know. Elena's been through a lot. Even though I need the business, I don't want to push her.
Well?
Well, what?
Do I get the money or not?
No, you don't.
Well, then I'm taking the first plane out tomorrow morning for Nashville. Joe, if you're not back here in 5 minutes, I'm coming in there after you.
You're not doing any such thing.
But the man you're looking for shot you last time.
Well, they're not going to start anything in the diner. I mean, if he gives himself up, then and the police find out he's got the money, then they're going to be after him, too.
Do you remember what they look like?
Those are two faces I'll never forget.
Okay, the heavyset one, his name was Gus, and the other one, his name was Bush.
I know.
The heavyset one, and the one named Gus, he was the one that was working in the kitchen the night I was here.
You told me that already, all right? Don't worry.
What happens if Butch or Gus is in there?
Well, I'm going to get him into a conversation, get him to talk a little.
Talk about what?
Tell me where they live so I can go search the place.
Oh, Joe, that sounds dangerous.
Look, Elena, getting my hands on that money is the only way I'm going to get out of the country before the police get their hands on me. I wish me luck, huh?
Good luck. Joe.
Yeah?
Be careful.
You decided not to come until tomorrow.
What?
Aren't you the new cook the employment agency sent over?
Yeah. Right. That's me.
I didn't know you two knew each other.
Oh, yeah, since we were kids. My daddy used to be the foreman on Page's father's ranch.
Oh, that's right. I remember Page telling me that.
So, are you taking a night off just to hear Elena sing?
No, I don't work at the Top of the World Club anymore, Ricky.
Oh, you got a better offer, huh?
I got fired.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know.
No need to be sorry. I never really felt I was right for that job anyway.
Well, everybody said you did a great job, Paige. You look terrific behind the desk.
Thanks. But I thought the Top of the World Club was really too stuffy for me, too sedate. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah? Well, I thought it was a very nice place. I'd only been there a couple of times. Well, I think I'll go over and get myself a beer and wait for the show to start. I'll see you all later over at the bandstand. Goodbye, Paige.
My. A little rough on poor old Ricky, don't you think?
What? I was civil, wasn't I?
Well, yeah, but not very friendly.
Look, Peter, Ricky is a character from my childhood. I don't even know him anymore.
Playing your role to the hilt, aren't you?
What are you talking about?
The fallen woman? Don't you think you might be taking it a bit too far?
It really upsets me that Grant came all the way out here to talk to Ryan about Iris.
Well, he was out here this afternoon, Jenny. He was talking to me about buying a horse farm. I told him about Dudley Jefferson's place, so maybe he went out there.
He didn't want to talk about horse farms. He wanted to talk about Iris Wheeler.
I think what Max means is that Grant didn't necessarily come out here to the ranch, Jenny, just to talk to Ryan.
I also don't think you should be worrying about Iris Wheeler.
I think I have to worry about Iris Wheeler, especially if Justin is trying to talk Iris into firing Ryan.
Now, that's the problem, Jenny. We don't know that's what Justin's doing. We just think that's what Justin's doing. Besides, Ryan owns 1/3 of the company, doesn't he?
Yes.
So? I don't think Iris could get rid of Ryan whether she wanted to or not.
Ginny, I've known Iris for a very long time. We're very good friends, you know. And I understand how she overreacts to situations. She gets angry, she lashes out at the nearest person available, then she realizes what she's doing and she apologizes.
And in the meantime, she has everyone's life in a turmoil.
Too often, that's the case, yes.
But I think this is different. It's different this time. I mean, she's been mad at Ryan for a long time now.
Well, that's because at the moment, Ryan is her target. She'll calm down.
Not if Justin keeps pushing her to get rid of Ryan.
Honey, I think Iris has enough sense to see through Justin. And besides, I keep telling her over and over again, don't trust Justin.
Well, she's very intent on giving that company to her son.
It'll pass, Jenny. Did you realize that the last time Dennis was offered a position that he refused? In fact, I would be surprised if Iris even told him about it this time. Grant is a very stabilizing force to Iris. If she doesn't see what's going on with Justin, then Grant will.
I hope so.
I could talk to Iris. Maybe I could get things straightened out.
I think it's better to let Ryan work on it himself. And if he can't...
Okay, then I'll talk to Iris.
I did not kill Alex. Listen, that is incredible. I'm even making this denial.
I'm not suggesting that.
I walked into his hospital room. I saw he wasn't breathing. I left immediately, got a hold of Dr. Evan Douglas, and told him to take a look at him. No, I did not talk to my uncle. I'm not responsible for his death.
I didn't say that you were responsible. I'm simply telling you what Iris believes.
Yeah, that if Alex had lived one more day, I might not be in control of World Oil, right?
Unbelievable as that sounds, that's exactly what she thinks.
Grant, I cannot prove that I didn't talk to Alex. Now, when I went into the room and by the time I left, it was just a minute or two. I mean, unless somebody timed me. If Iris can't believe that, then there's nothing I can do about it.
Ryan, I want to resolve this situation.
I don't know how. I don't have any answers that are going to satisfy Iris, and right now she's looking for answers, a lot of answers, and she's looking for a guilty party to Alex's death. She seems to have chosen me, right?
Well, one of the problems is that she was firmly convinced that Alex was on the road to full recovery.
That seems to have been the case. He was making steady progress. I just can't explain why he had another stroke.
Well, then, maybe it's just very simple. He was ill, weak. Maybe his body just gave up.
Perhaps. Maybe Dr. Douglas can explain it, but I sure can't.
Well, then, I think I shall have a conversation with Dr. Douglas.
Yeah.
Ryan, I want to settle this thing as soon as possible.
Thank you, Grant. Thanks.
Much fun.
You planning to start a family?
Mm-hmm. Did Kate tell you?
No, I guessed it. Why didn't you tell me?
Oh, I didn't know how you would take it. You know, I didn't want to go on about... Well, because of your baby, honey.
It's getting a lot easier to talk about now. Oh, Rena, I'm so happy that you want a family.
I want to have a baby because of Max. You know, it's funny. I loved Kevin very much when I married him, but I guess I didn't love him enough to have a baby. Maybe I was too young or too immature. I don't know. I'm scared, Jenny.
Because I lost my baby. When Ryan and I get married, I'd like to have another baby right away. Courtney told me that I should be able to have a normal pregnancy. And I'm just going to concentrate on that and believe that nothing will go wrong.
Do you mind telling me how you can do that?
Sure, you just think about all the good things and concentrate on Max and your new home. Well, you don't sit around all day wondering whether it's going to rain. What good will that do? Either it rains or it doesn't rain.
Thank you, Jenny.
I'll be here, Rena, if you need me.
Ruby, I told you I don't have any money.
Then I guess I flew all the way from Nashville for nothing. And the ticket wasn't cheap either.
Hey there, Billy Joe. Am I intruding on something?
No, me and my sister here just having a little discussion.
You have a sister?
Ruby, this is Ricky Decker, Lena's brother.
Pleased to meet you.
I'm very pleased to meet you. Why don't you sit down?
Thank you. When did you arrive in Houston?
I flew in yesterday from Nashville.
Oh, from Nashville. I've never been there, but I've heard a lot about it.
It's a fun town.
Yeah, it's where the music business, the country music business is centered, right?
Mm-hmm. That's why I was there. I worked for a very important agent in Nashville.
Oh. Are you on vacation?
Sort of. Are you in the music business?
Sort of. I sing in the shower, that's about it.
Ricky filled in for Lena a couple times right here at the coop.
I bet you have a great voice.
So where's Elena?
I don't know. She's supposed to be here now. She's supposed to come here early and talk over some of the songs here with Andy and the rest of the band.
Well, maybe I should go give her a call, huh?
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
It was real nice to meet you, Ruby.
Look, honey, I didn't mean to get into an argument with you like this, and I'm sorry you came all the way out here to help me, but I'm just trying to make you understand my situation here.
Sure.
Well, just so there's no hard feelings, I'll pay for your plane fare back to Nashville.
That won't be necessary.
Well, I don't mind. It's the least I can do for you.
Well, I've changed my mind, Billy Joe. I'm not going back to Nashville. I'm going to stay right here.
From what the employment agency said, you've worked in a lot of pretty nice places.
I was wondering, if you don't mind my asking, what happened to the cook who was here before?
Old Gus. Oh, there wasn't any personality conflict or anything like that, if that's what you're worried about.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, it's very important that the working conditions be good.
Yes, it is, but you don't need to worry about me. I'm pretty easy to get along with. Not that you'll have to be working with me for long.
Well, why? You planning on quitting?
No, but as soon as I can find a new waitress, I'm going to step on up to something more important like manager.
So, whatever did happen to this Gus?
Well, old Gus got lucky for the first time in his life.
Yeah?
Yeah. He came into a lot of money and left town.
When are you two going to set the date for that barn dance anyway?
Well, it depends on when construction starts on the new house. It'll be a couple of weeks.
Honey, I think it's getting late. We better get back to the cabin.
Okay. Thanks for cooking supper, Ginny.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for all your help.
Ryan, talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be at the office, man.
All right. We're going to say goodnight to Kate.
That's right. Good night.
You've been kind of quiet all evening.
Oh, just a little tired.
You're worried about your conversation with Grant. What did he tell you?
Iris just won't let up in this business of blaming me for Alex's death.
Ryan, that's unfair. You loved Alex just as much as she did.
Well, perhaps Grant will talk some sense into her, huh?
Suppose he can't.
And I'm just going to have to find a way of dealing with Iris myself.
Thank you for seeing me this late, Doctor. I appreciate it.
No problem. I'm covering the emergency room tonight anyway, so I hope you'll excuse me if I have to run off suddenly.
Certainly.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
Now, what can I do for you?
Was an autopsy performed on my brother, Doctor?
No. No reason for it.
Is an autopsy routinely performed?
Only when there's disagreement or suspicion on the cause of death. Now, in your brother's case, he'd already survived one cerebral infarction.
Yes, but
so
Mrs. Wheeler was convinced that Mr. Wheeler was on the road to full recovery.
Well, he did surprise us with the recovery that he made and the progress, but recurrence of cerebral infarction is always a possibility. I tried to impress that upon Mrs. Wheeler.
Yeah. Well, Mrs. Wheeler has a tendency to hear what she wants to hear.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, they were very close. And of course, she wanted him to recover.
Doctor, did my brother die a natural death?
Well, there's no indication that there was foul play, if that's what you're suggesting, Mr. Wheeler.
Where is he now?
Well, I don't know exactly. He bought the shiny new car and said he was going off to his uncle's funeral with his friend Butch.
Well, you know, when people come into money, they usually just leave town and move to the Riviera someplace.
I don't know what old Gus would do on the Riviera. He can't even speak good English. French should be out of the question. And besides, he got a new apartment right before he left town.
Oh, well, then maybe he's just going to set up in style right here in Houston.
Well, he said he was only going to be gone for a few days to a week. My guess is he can't wait to get back here to the diner to throw some of that money around.
Yeah, you know, I used to know a guy named Gus. We were working together over at the Starlight Burger Heaven. Yeah, he lived on Elm Street, and I'd love to get in touch with him right now. He owes me quite a bit of money.
I don't think it's the same person. Gus lived in this run-down place. It was on the corner of Cactus and Williams. It was this tiny room, and you had to walk up 5 flights of stairs to get to it. I mean, I'd only been there once. You understand? I don't want you to think I frequented his room.
I understand.
Well, the reason I went there was because I had to give him a paycheck once because he was sick.
Well, that's real nice of you.
I try to treat people decently. Trouble is, they don't always treat you the same way back.
Ain't that the truth?
Gus, he's the last person in the world you'd expect to be walking around with $1 million.
Well, I'll tell you. It's too bad that that's not the Gus I know.
Sorry, I guess you're going to have to wait a little longer for your money.
Yeah. Well, look, I better be going. Thanks for your help.
Pleasure's mine. Now, the boss has been cooking ever since Gus left, and he's getting pretty tired of it. So if you want to put your foot down in the right direction, my suggestion is about an hour before we open, around 9.
I'll be here.
One more thing.
What's that?
What happened to your arm?
Oh. I burned it in a grease fire.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it was for a while, but it's coming along real nice.
Rough business, isn't it?
That it is. See you later.
I think he's going to work out just fine. What are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about the oil well over at Harper's.
Ryan's taking care of it, so don't let it get to you.
Well, I'm also worried about Ryan. He's getting attacked from every direction.
He'll be all right, honey.
Doesn't sound that way to me.
You seem overly worried.
Well, I'm sure that he's covering his concerns so he won't worry Ginny.
Honey, I know Iris better than you, and I don't think she's going to stay angry at Ryan for very long.
I sure hope not.
If she does, I'll talk to her. I promise Ginny that. I'll tell her what a good man Ryan is.
Ooh, Jenny sure got her dander up tonight about Iris giving Ryan a hard time.
What's unusual about that?
Well, I'm just so used to Ginny being so quiet, never making any waves. Ooh, she sure got all fired up tonight.
You know, Max, it's good for her to lose her temper every once in a while.
You think so?
Yeah, it's healthy.
Now, you never told me that whenever I lost my temper.
Well...
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I do stupid things.
Storming into the top of the world dining room was not one of the smartest moves you ever made.
No. I wish now that I'd listened to you.
Can I remind you that the next time you decide to storm into that room and punch out Justin, huh?
Yes.
Come on, let's go to sleep. Turn off the light. What's wrong?
Listen. Do you hear it?
Hear what?
The silence, Rena. They shut the well down.
Oh.
Oh. I don't know what I'm suggesting, Doctor. You see, Iris is blaming Ryan for Alex's death because Ryan had an argument with Alex just before he died.
Well, I was under the impression that Ryan never actually spoke to Alex. That he just walked into the room and found Alex dead.
Well, did you talk to Ryan before he went in to see him?
Yes, I did. Alex requested a meeting with him. He obviously considered it urgent. That's why I allowed Ryan to see him.
But Mrs. Wheeler was opposed to that meeting on the premise that Mr. Wheeler needed some rest.
I know. But he seemed concerned. He was agitated. I felt that he wouldn't get any rest unless he spoke to Ryan.
Forgive me for sounding like an investigator. I'm just trying to piece together exactly what happened.
Now, I understand. I know that Mrs. Wheeler is extremely grief-stricken right now, and I assume she has some quarrel with Ryan, but as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing suspicious about your brother's death. Now, if there were any indication of foul play, we would have performed an autopsy and called in the police.
All right. Now I've got to figure out a way to convince Iris of that. Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Good night.
Think anything's happened to Elena?
Well, there wasn't any answer out at the house, so I'm sure she's on her way.
I hope she's not still feeling sick.
Yeah, so do I.
Elena just called. She's not coming.
What?
She's sick.
Yeah, but I just called her 10 minutes ago. There wasn't any answer.
She was at the drugstore getting something for her stomach.
Sounds like a bad case of nerves.
I told you we shouldn't have pushed her.
So you about ready to start the show? Oh.
Well, no, not exactly, Mr. Parnell.
Why? Where's Lynn?
She's come down with something, one of them 24-hour, one of them stomach viruses.
And she's not going to do the show?
No, sir, she isn't.
Well, you better find some alternative pretty fast. We're going to have a house full of irate customers here.
Mr. Parnell, I don't have any other alternative.
Why, what about Ricky?
Ricky, could you do it?
Sure he could.
Well, how about it, Ricky? Would you mind?
Well, I don't mind, but the question is, what about the audience?
I'll take care of that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Excuse me, folks, could I have your attention, please? I'm sorry to have to announce, but Elena Decker's not feeling too well tonight. No, hold on. No, something's good here. She come down with one of them 24-hour viruses, and I hope she'll be better tomorrow night. But we do have a treat for you. Her brother, Ricky Decker, who sang with Elena right here a couple times, right here on this stage, he's going to sing for us tonight instead, okay? So how about a big hand for Ricky Decker? Give him a hand.
We're gonna try something here. This is a song you've probably all heard before, and it's one of my favorite songs, so here goes. Day after day, I'm more confused as I look for the light through the pouring rain.
No, that's a game that I hate to lose. I'm counting on you. Carry me through. Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Beginning to think that I'm wasting time. Don't understand the things I do now. The world outside is so unkind. On you, carry me through. Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Hey, oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away.
How'd you like to be married to a lawyer, huh?
You're a lawyer.
Yeah, but I don't practice law, do I?
Are you thinking about leaving the company?
Am I? What do you think, huh?
I don't think that you should quit because of some wild accusations that Iris is making about you. I think you should stay there and fight her. Prove that she's wrong.
Yeah, but I can't. I don't know if I can prove that she is wrong. Nobody else was in the hospital room with Alex and me. It's Iris's word against mine.
What does Grant think?
Well, I'm pretty sure he believes me.
I thought you were going to find a way to deal with Iris, Ryan.
I'm considering the alternatives.
You know, the more I hear about Iris Wheeler, the less I like her.
Hey, now, Iris is very strong-willed, but she's not a bad person at all.
She sounds like a terrible person to me.
Listen, grief does very strange things to people, and some handle it better than others.
Honey, I'm really sorry that Iris lost her husband. But he was your uncle, and I don't think you should give in to her like that.
Okay. I'm going to find a way to deal with the situation.
Okay. Then if you want to practice law, that's fine. But just don't quit under a cloud of suspicions.
Okay. I'm going to try and talk with Iris tomorrow.
That's a good idea.
You know, now that I have all these responsibilities, I just can't follow my impulses anymore like I used to.
Well, maybe that's not such a bad thing. Ryan, no matter what you choose to do, I'll stand by you. As long as we can be together.
I love you.
I love you, too.
What do you think?
It's real good. But I feel kind of guilty drinking it since you bought it for Buddy and Wanda.
Oh, honey. Their anniversary isn't for another day and a half, so I've got plenty of time to buy another bottle. Besides, you see, the way I look at it, having the oil wells closed down at the Harbor Place is just a natural reason to have a celebration.
I never thought I'd quite appreciate silence the way I do right now. Now I feel we can finally plan our future happiness for ourselves.
Hey, how do you feel about taking a weekend in Acapulco? We could stay at Judge Rayburn's house.
Well, I worry about leaving Kate alone.
Oh, honey, now Ginny is there and Guy's there to watch the ranch.
Will your mommy and daddy be there, or will we be by ourselves?
Well, now, Mr. Decker, if you really want to be alone, I suppose I could suggest that Mama and Daddy stay home.
Okay, you do that.
I talked to Ginny today about having a baby.
Do you feel better about it?
Yes, I do.
Are you still scared?
From time to time. But I think how much I love you.
How much I love you.
Max, I never thought in a million years I could be this happy.
Well, I knew I would be. The first time I saw you, I said to myself, that is the woman that I want to spend the rest of my life with. I am going to love her forever.
I'm gonna love you forever.
Why'd you take your wig off?
Because it's night, Joe, and no one's gonna see us. Besides, it was hot and it was making my head itch.
I don't care. I don't want anybody to recognize you.
Joe, they won't. Was this the place the lady in the diner told you about?
Yeah, but she was right. Gus moved away a week ago.
Well, did the landlady say she knew where he went?
Nah. I gave her that line about owing money, but, and she let me check the place, but it was empty.
Well, then we have no way of knowing where he is.
Check information.
Yeah, I went to that filling station down the street and I used their payphone. There was an unlisted number for Gus Perkins, except that information wouldn't give me the address.
And what about the coop? Did you call him and tell him you couldn't make it?
Yeah.
What'd they say?
Well, Billy Joe said that he understood, but I still hated doing it.
I told you should have gone.
Joe, this is too important right now.
Helping me find the money?
Look, you promised me that you would give me a written confession that would free Dennis Carrington.
And I will, as soon as I can get away.
Would it be so terrible if you wrote that confession before you found the money?
Elena, that money buys me a ticket to South America. If I write that confession now, the cops are going to know I'm in Houston. Then the only ticket I'll be able to buy is one that sends me to prison. And if it comes down to me being in prison in Carrington, I'd rather be him in prison.
Yeah, but we don't know where Gus is. We don't even have any way of tracking him down.
Yeah, but Jeannie, that girl at the diner, has a feeling he's going to be back in a couple of days to show off the money.
Oh, Joe, what are you going to do? You're going to sit out there all day? She'll get suspicious.
Not if I'm working there.
Working there?
Yeah. She thought I was the new cook. Maybe I ought to be.
So, how's it feel to do 2 shows in one night?
Well, it feels fine, but it's a little tiring, you know?
You'll get used to it.
Well, I'm not planning on getting used to it.
Thanks again, Ricky, for stepping for Elena.
Well, I guess it was the least I could do to uphold the family honor. Speaking of the family honor, I think I better take it home and give it a rest, you know?
You think Elena's gonna be all right for tomorrow?
Well, I just talked to Jeb on the phone. He said that she was sound asleep in bed, so yeah, I think she'll be all right. Well, so long. See you all later.
Bye, Ricky.
Bye-bye.
Elena better be all right. I'm gonna lose my job.
Well, that won't happen, Billy Joe. Not as long as Ricky's around.
Am I reading you right?
Are you?
Are you interested in Ricky?
Ricky is a very interesting man.
Well, I suggest you don't get too interested in him, because I don't want him hanging around here at the coop.
Why not?
Because he thinks he can move in on Nita now that we're temporarily separated.
Don't you worry about Ricky, Billy Joe. I'll take care of him.
Did I wake you?
I was just falling off. Something wrong?
It got lonely out there in the living room.
I'm tired, Peter.
I just want to talk.
We can talk in the morning.
Why do you keep putting it off, Paige? It's inevitable.
Maybe I should sleep in the living
fighting
room.
it,
I'm not
Paige.
fighting anything, Peter.
Good.
No.
You're making a mistake, Paige.
A very bad mistake.
Hey, Nita.
Hi, Ricky.
Where's Maggie?
Oh, she's back in the back in the kitchen. Her and Billy Joe Jr. are helping Robert get ready for lunch.
Is Angela back there keeping an eye on him, too?
No, she's not here yet. I guess she had a few errands to run. Maggie said it was okay if she was late. Hey, I heard that you were a big hit at the Coop last night.
Now, who told you that?
Well, it's common knowledge. See, Jeb told Max, Max told Rena, Rena told Maggie, and Maggie told me.
Well, I guess it went all right.
From the way I heard, it went a whole lot better than just all right. In fact, Maggie and I were just thinking that since you're thinking of quitting World Oil, that maybe you might consider trying a career in singing.
Well, seems like the only thing I've been making a career out of lately is getting my sister out of jams.
Think you can find your way around the kitchen all right?
Oh, yeah, I think so. If I need any help, I'll just holler.
That's fine.
Say, we about to open pretty soon?
About half an hour. You don't need to worry. I mean, it's never busy around here in the summer.
You heard anything from the cook who used to work here?
Gus? Not yet. I figure he'll be showing that ugly mug of his around here pretty soon. That money must be burning holes in his pockets. I'm sorry, we're not open yet.
It's okay, Jeannie. This here's a friend of mine.
Well, now. I thought you were going to stay in there all day.
I'm not used to getting up so early.
Hey, this ain't early. I've been up over an hour. Remember back home, we used to get up with the roosters.
We're not back home, Billy Joe. Oh, I need some coffee to get myself going.
Right over there in the kitchen.
You given any thought to what I asked you last night?
Ruby, I'm not paying you any money.
I'm talking about Elena Decker.
What about her?
All those times she's canceled at the Coop, she's more trouble than she's worth.
Well, I think that she's just having a rough time after being kidnapped twice.
Well, I'll tell you what I think. I think you ought to get rid of her.
Good morning.
Good morning, Iris.
Oh, I'm sorry to have retired so early last night.
Oh, don't worry about that. I understand.
I wanted to see you when you returned from the Marshall Ranch.
Well, it was rather late when I returned.
Lacey and I had a lovely dinner together.
Oh, where is she?
I just looked in on her. She's still asleep. She told me you talked to some man about buying his horse farm.
Yeah, a fellow named Dudley Jefferson.
Have you made a decision?
No, Jefferson has to make the decision. He wants to think it over.
Lacey has her heart set on the place.
Yeah, I know. Poor kid, I hope she's not too disappointed if the deal falls through.
Well, if you can't buy the Jefferson place, you can find another one.
That's what I told Lacey.
Then don't be so concerned about it. I mean, after all, you aren't in any hurry. You can stay here as long as you like.
Oh, no, Iris, it's not that. I know that we're welcome here, and I'm very grateful for that. It's, something else is bothering me.
What is it?
Ryan was at the Marshall Ranch last night. We talked.
No wonder you look so grim.
I also talked to Dr. Douglas.
Evan?
Yeah. I wanted to clear up the matter of Alex's death for once and for all.
And did you?
Yes. I don't believe that Ryan is responsible for Alex's death. And neither does Dr. Douglas.
Well, you're certainly entitled to your opinion. But you're wrong.
He's not in. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking to someone else. All right, I'll have him get back with you. Okay. What's wrong with you?
Where is he?
He's in a meeting.
How long will he be?
We'll expect him back shortly.
Where's the meeting?
Hey, Justin, I think you better calm down just a little bit. I mean, if you think you're going to go storming into somebody else's office...
This is important, Ashley. Either you're with me or you're not. You really did it, didn't you? You shut my well down.
I told you yesterday that I intended to investigate Max Decker's charges. I can't do that while the well's operating, Justin.
It's my project.
No, this is World Oil's project. I happen to be running World Oil now.
I'm warning you.
I suggest you go back to your office and wait for the engineer's report.
I'm Jeannie Halpern. Glad to know you. I'm Helen. Helen Small. You're not looking for a job by any chance? No, why? Well, I thought that since you were a friend of Mel's, you'd like to work here. I've been looking for a waitress to take over part-time. You sure you don't want to give it a try?
Yeah, I think you'd be real good waiting on tables, Helen.
Well, thank you, but I already have a full-time job right now. Well, you can't blame a girl for asking. I will be in the office until we open. How are things going?
It's going fine. I haven't had to cook anything yet.
Well, what are you going to do when you have to start cooking?
Well, I worked in this galley on this boat I shipped out in once, and as long as they keep it simple, hamburgers and hot dogs.
What happens if somebody wants something more complicated?
Well, how more complicated can you get in a diner? Nobody's going to be ordering souffles for lunch.
How about that guy that was supposed to get the job? Did he show up yet?
No, not yet. That's why I'm waiting out here.
What are you going to tell him if he does?
I'm just going to tell him the job's been taken.
What happens if he starts asking all kinds of questions?
Well, I don't know. I'm just going to have to think of something.
Joe has your arm. Is it all right?
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
I still think you are crazy for trying to rub off that tattoo with salt.
I got to get it off.
I know, but that's just a dangerous way of doing it.
Well, it's the only way I know how.
Are you sure it's all right?
I'm sorry, sir. We're not open yet.
I'm Mel Cott, the new cook here.
The problem isn't trying to get rid of Elena. It's trying to get her to sing.
Why bother?
Because she brings in customers, Ruby.
Plenty other people can do that.
Not that I know of. Besides, I've got faith in Elena.
I should think Elena's let you down often enough for you to have got the hint by now, Billy Joe.
She hasn't let me down at all.
That's not what it looked like last night.
You heard what Ricky said. She came down with one of them 24-hour viruses.
I wonder what she'll have the next time.
Why are you tearing down Elena like this?
I'm not tearing her down.
Sounds like it to me.
I just think there's plenty of other fishes in the sea.
Well, I haven't noticed any.
What about Elena's brother?
Ricky?
I think you got a real find there.
I told you, Ruby. I'm not going to have Ricky hang around the coop.
Billy Joe!
It's bad enough running into him at Maggie's all the time.
He's got a great voice! Customers love him. I think he's real sexy.
Well, I don't, and that's what counts.
You want to know what I think, Billy Joe? I think you're afraid of Ricky.
I'm not afraid of anybody. Just as he's trying to take away my wife. Next thing you know, he'll be after my job.
Don't you worry about Ricky, Billy Joe. You just leave him to me. So how's Elena feeling this morning?
She seems fine to me.
Yeah, Maggie said she had one of those 24-hour viruses.
It was more like a half-hour virus.
Don't you believe she was really sick?
I don't know what to believe, Nita. Lena's been getting pretty flaky lately.
Hey, Ricky.
Hi, Maggie.
Hi, Meg.
How you doing?
How's my son doing?
Do you know that Robert's teaching him how to make tacos?
Oh, boy. I better go check up on him in a minute.
Oh, he's happy. He's doing just fine. He's nothing but smiles. I don't think I've ever seen a happier baby.
Say, how's Angela working out?
Oh, she's gonna be fine. She's a real hard worker, and the customers like her a lot.
You know, Maggie, I'm surprised that you let her have the morning off. I mean, you're going to be kind of short-handed, aren't you?
Well, I can handle it. She had something important to do.
What's so important you can't wait till after lunch?
Well, she was doing a favor for me.
Uh-huh. What kind of favor?
Well, she's gonna talk to some of her friends for me.
About what?
About finding somebody to run the restaurant.
Hold on, Ryan. Yeah, I'm busy, Justin. You get out of here.
I'm not going anywhere till we've settled this.
It's already settled.
Not as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you better find something to occupy your time until this investigation's completed. You got that?
I want the investigation called off.
Not a chance.
You're trying to embarrass me professionally because of Max Decker's desire for revenge.
World Oil's practices have been called into question. I don't like that. Now, I have an obligation to my company to investigate those accusations and set the record straight as quickly as possible.
You're playing right into Max Decker's hands.
I'm protecting the integrity of World Oil. Slant drilling's illegal. Now, we're going to look into it. If it's going on, we're going to stop it quick.
Max Decker has been threatening to close the well any way he could. He told everyone he'd stop at nothing.
If his allegations prove false, I'll give the project back to you. It's as simple as that.
All you have to do is look at my engineer's reports. You don't have to close down the whole well.
Your engineer's report's not enough, Justin.
You don't trust me?
No, I don't. And I don't trust Bubba Wadsworth either. Even your own father accused him of slant drilling.
My father worked with Bubba Wadsworth 12 years ago. He found no proof that Bubba was slant drilling.
Yeah, maybe not, but he felt strongly enough to pull out of a very lucrative project now, didn't he?
Are you telling me that every time Max Decker waltzes in here with some suspicion of me, that you plan to close down my projects and start a full-scale investigation?
No, I'm saying that as long as you insist on working with Bubba Wadsworth, yes, I may do just that.
You're not going to tell me who to work with.
Oh, you're wrong, Justin. I sure can tell you who to work with. You know, I didn't want Bubba Wadsworth associated with World Oil in the first place. My instincts were right. Bubba spells trouble. This company doesn't need that.
Alex Wheeler, your uncle, was interested in expanding World Oil by adding an oil production development division.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Alex had faith in me and my project. I delivered. I delivered on my promise to him. I brought in a well. I am not about to lose control of that.
Well, I'm calling the shots now. So you better get used to that, or you find yourself another job. You got that?
You're not going to get rid of me as easily as you did your Uncle Alex.
I'm sorry there, buddy, but I think you're a little late. Job's already been taken.
Oh, yeah? By who?
Me.
I want to see the owner.
Owner's not here.
Well, then I'd like to talk with the lady that I spoke to on the phone. Jeannie Halpern.
I'm Jeannie.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. What can I do for you?
Look, now, I know that you must be sore because I refused to come in on that interview, but I told you I had things to do.
Well, I still hope you got things to do because you're out of a job.
But you saw my resume. Where are you going to find someone with those qualifications? I mean, why should I waste my time to come in on some crazy interview?
Look, it was your choice. But I don't hire anybody until I've talked to them first.
That's fine with me. Here I am. Now ask all the questions you want.
I don't think you heard me correctly. The job has been filled.
Well, that seems awful fast to me.
Yeah? Well, who cares?
You see, Joe here walked in right after you phoned, and he was ready to start right away.
But...
Hey, look, buddy, that's enough. Now, why don't you just mosey on out of here and look somewhere else for a job, all right?
I have half a mind to report this place to the Better Business Bureau. Now, the least you could have done was to phone me and tell me not to come in. I live all the way over the other side of town.
Sorry.
What's the use?
Now, you tell me you're not glad that I was here.
Oh, I'm real glad you're here.
I am going to be so much help to you, Joe. And the sooner we find that money, the sooner you can write that confession and we can get Dennis Carrington out of jail.
I think it's obvious that Ryan did have time to argue with Alex.
Were you in the sitting room when Ryan went in to see Alex?
No.
Where were you?
I was on my way to see Dr. Douglas on the 7th floor.
Did you see Ryan before he went to see Alex?
Yes. I ran into him in the reception room. He was there with Justin and Ashley.
Did you talk with him?
Yes, I did. And then Dr. Douglas joined us there.
Well, when did Ryan go in to see Alex?
As soon as Evan came. Evan was discussing new therapy techniques with me.
Where did that discussion take place? In the reception room?
No. We talked in the corridor as we were walking back towards Alex's room.
Did you go in?
No. Just as we got there, Ryan came out and told Evan he thought something was wrong with Alex.
Iris, I'm sorry to put you through this again.
It's all right. Grant, something very peculiar happened.
What?
A nurse came to the sitting room and told me Dr. Douglas wanted to see me in his office.
Well, what's peculiar about that?
When I told Evan that I had received his message and was on my way to see him, he said he hadn't sent for me.
Well, do you have any idea why the nurse might have said that?
Someone wanted me away from Alex. Someone wanted to be alone with him.
Iris.
Dr. Douglas knew I didn't like leaving Alex alone. He always came to the suite to talk to me. I should have questioned this before now.
Iris, isn't it possible that the nurse simply made a mistake?
The message was certainly clear enough. Dr. Douglas wants to see you in his office on the 7th floor. I would have been away from the suite for 15 or 20 minutes, perhaps longer. Now, Ryan knew I could hear everything that went on in Alex's room. I wouldn't have allowed him to argue with Alex about changing the will.
He didn't know about the will. Not at that time.
He knew Dennis had spoken with Alex, and he knew Alex well enough to know what Dennis meant to him. Yes, Ryan arranged for me to be in Evan's office while he was talking with Alex.
What are you insinuating, Justin?
I think you know what I'm talking about.
My uncle died of a stroke.
Agreed. But you just happened to bring on by arguing with him.
What?
He told you he wanted to change his will, didn't he, Ryan?
You're treading on very dangerous ground, Justin.
I'm not the only one who thinks you're responsible for Alex Wheeler's stroke. Iris Wheeler believes it too, Ryan.
I know that. You're both wrong. Alex was dead when I walked into that hospital room.
All right. Think about this. Assuming that this hasn't already crossed your mind. One more day. One more day. Dennis Carrington would be running World Oil instead of you.
It's time for you to leave.
Maybe I should have my own investigation into the principles and the ethics of the great Ryan Connor.
You know, I don't understand this, Justin. Why are you wasting your time and energy trying to slander me?
Because you're not going to be satisfied when you find out we're not slant drilling. That's not going to stop you. You're going to question our every move.
Yeah, you're right, I will.
I'm not going to work that way.
You know, there are plenty of other oil companies around town. Why don't you try working for one of them?
You'd really like that, wouldn't you? Forget about it. I'm staying right here at World Oil. And I'm going to manage my own division the way I want to.
I wouldn't be too sure of that, Justin.
There's one thing that you can't be sure of. You're not going to be around here too much longer. I plan to see to that personally.
things are not going to work out. Not the way you want them to.
Anita, I don't want you to go talking that way, please.
It's true, Billy Joe. Why can't you see that?
I can't see it because I'm not going to let it happen that way, Anita. I love you, honey, and I know you love me, too.
Yeah, I love you, Billy
You
Joe.
know, when people love each other, man, Anita, they need to be together.
We're going to be together. But we're going to be friends. I hope.
Yeah. We're married. We're man and wife.
There's something I want to give to you.
I can't accept that from you.
Well, I can't wear it. Not after how I found out how you got that money to pay for it.
Nita, I'll pay for it with my own money. I'll get a second job if I have to, I swear. But please, I want you to have it.
No, I can't. I can't.
Nita, I know you're mad. I know that. And I know you got a right to be, honey. But please, don't go doing something like this out of anger. Okay? I'm begging you now, please. Don't do it.
I am not mad. I'm the farthest thing from being mad. When you gave me this ring, I promised that I would honor and trust you. But I can't do that now. I can't trust you after what happened.
Hey! Hey, what are you going to do today, huh?
Well, I thought I'd go over to Maggie's and grab a bite of lunch. After that, I guess I'll come back and hang around the pool for a while. How about you?
You know what? I think I might just go over to Maggie's with you. You know, maybe we could stop off at one of them shopping centers and maybe help him pick out a gift for Billy Joe Jr.
If I were you, I'd go easy on the presents, Billy Joe.
What for?
Because everybody knows they're as much for Nita as they are for your kid.
So what's wrong with that?
For a manager, you are pretty dumb.
What do you mean?
You ought to be playing hard to get right now.
Ruby, I don't want to play hard to get. I just want to get Nita back.
Don't you see? That's the only way you ever are going to get her back. Gotta play the game, honey.
Don't make any sense.
Of course it doesn't. Not to you. That's why you lost her in the first place.
2 house chilies. How about being on the side with grated cheese chopped up?
What do I have to do to put a smile on that pretty face of yours?
I was just thinking.
About what? Must have been something pretty sad.
Was. Thinking about Maggie.
About Maggie?
I was thinking about how lonesome it's going to be around here without her.
Nita, she's not even gone yet.
I know. I just wish that Dwayne would move down to Houston instead of making Maggie move all the way to Amarillo.
Dwayne doesn't have any...
Mr. Connor, is there anything I can help you with?
Yes, Ashley, there is. I need a list of engineers who are experts in directional surveys.
Directional survey?
Yeah, do you know how to get a hold of that information?
I don't even know what a directional survey is.
Well, that's the measurement of the angle at which an oil well is drilled.
Oh. You mean like, in slant drilling?
That's right.
All right, I'll get that information right away and see what I can come up with. Now, when do you need it?
I need it today. I want a list of their names, background, experience, and their availability. I want the survey as quickly as possible.
All right.
Thanks. I'm going to go down to the hall, check out the location of that South American tanker. You call me if you need me.
Stay tuned for the next part of Texas. And now, the next part of Texas.
Billy Joe?
Oh, how'd I look, huh?
You look fine.
I shouldn't have got a haircut. I look like a damn rooster.
Billy Joe, if you don't hurry up, we're going to be having dinner at Maggie's instead of lunch.
Okay, I'm ready. Who the devil could that be?
I don't know, but we're never going to get out of here.
Oh, hey, Elena. How you doing?
Hey, Billy Joe. Hi, Ruby.
Well, how you feeling?
I feel a lot better. I'm sorry about last night, Billy.
Hey, no need to apologize, darling. Oh, well, what brings you out here, huh?
Well, I moved back into my apartment here at the Aquarius.
You mean you're not staying out the ranch anymore?
No, I think I just miss being in town. Billy Joe?
Huh? Ruby, why don't you go up to Maggie's without me, huh? I'll join you there later.
Well, how are you going to get there? Well, I have my car. I could drive him. Okay. How do you like staying in Houston, Ruby? So far, so good. Bye.
Bye. I'm really glad you're feeling all right, Elena.
Billy Joe, I can't lie to you. I wasn't sick.
I know.
I'm sorry, Ashley isn't with you.
Well, she'll be pleased to hear that, Iris.
Would you like some coffee or tea?
No, neither for me. I'm really sorry to bother you, Iris. There are some matters I'd like to discuss with you, though. Matters that will affect your future.
All right. Can I assume that one subject we'll be discussing is Ryan Connor?
Yes, I haven't been able to get along with him any better than you have.
Huh? Well, he's not the easiest person to get along with. What's been the problem? The oil well?
He's been against the well from the very beginning, and now that Mr. Wheeler isn't here to protect the project, well, he's doing his best to dump it. I can't understand.
You find that very difficult to do when it's making so much money for the company.
That was true. But now that Max Decker is in the picture,
Max, what does he have to do with it?
Iris, the oil we're drilling is on the Harper land. It's right next to Max and Rena's. Max is furious that he has to look at an oil rig, so he has convinced Ryan that our drilling procedures are illegal.
Illegal?
He's accused us of putting our rig on the Harper land and then, well, drilling at an angle so that the well we pump out, the oil that we pump out of the well, comes from his land and not the Harper land. I believe the term is a slant drilling.
I've heard of slant drilling.
It's a terrible thing to be accused of. I just expected so much support from Ryan, and now he is launching into this investigation of the matter.
What's wrong with that?
Well, it's just that he believes Max Decker rather than me and the engineers. And also, World Oil is losing thousands and thousands of dollars while the well is shut down.
It shouldn't take too long to complete an investigation like that.
If I know Ryan Connor as well as I think I do, he will drag this thing out for weeks. Iris, I hate to say this about Alex Wheeler's nephew, but I don't think Ryan Connor is thinking of World Oil. I think he's more interested in forcing me into bankruptcy and out of the company.
Alex believed in the project, Justin. I know that.
And all I'm trying to do is make good on my promise to Alex by helping to establish an oil production division here at World Oil. Now, Ryan Connor sees this as a threat to his power. I think, Iris, that makes him dangerous.
Who hated Alex Marshall enough to risk cold-blooded murder?
You killed him!
No, I found him like this.
Alex Marshall's just been shot.
Well, I hope you're not implying I did it, that I shot Alex.
Are you saying you think I shot Alex?
Mr. Banning, you're being arrested for the shooting of Alex Marshall.
Days of Our Lives heats up your summer.
You were acting strange ever since that Joe Foster guy let you go, so I knew something was up. That's why I didn't try to push you into singing at the coop.
But Joe, you've been a real good friend to me.
I tried to be, Elena. But I guess I wasn't such a good friend when I kept that money, was I?
Look, I don't blame you for that. I think I would have done the same thing.
Well, I tried to convince Nita that if I went to the police, I would have been arrested.
I know. But Joe, I'm sorry about you and Nita. I really am.
I'm sorry, too. Elena?
What?
Is there anything we can talk about here?
I wish we could.
Yeah, I understand. It's okay. But, well, I guess you won't be singing at the coop then tonight, will you?
I'd like to try, but I really don't want to make any promises, you know?
Hey, don't rush, darling. Take your time. You'll come back when you're ready. I'm sorry Ruby cornered you yesterday like that.
Billy Joe, is the coop really in trouble?
No, Ruby was just exaggerating.
You know, I spoke to Ricky this morning, and he told me that he had a really great time there last night.
Yeah, I guess the audience had a real good time, too. He's pretty good.
Well, I'm really glad to hear that. Ricky said he's going to be there tonight, so if I can't make it, maybe he could take over for me.
Sure. Look, Elena. Darling, if there's anything I can do for you.
I'll let you know, Billy Joe. Hey! Where is everybody? Hi.
Maggie's doing the books, and Nita's in the back taking care of Billy Joe, Jr.
Ricky, I just got to tell you again, you were terrific last night.
Well, thank you.
Where did you ever learn how to sing like that?
Well, in the shower, mostly.
Oh, come on.
My Aunt Maggie says that my daddy had a pretty good voice, so maybe I inherited it from him. In fact, that's probably where Elena got her voice, too.
Is this the first time you've ever sung professionally?
Well, I had a band in high school. If that counts.
Everything counts.
We used to play school dances and parties, that sort of thing.
I bet you have a lot of other talents, too. You ever try to make a career out of singing?
I think one singer in the family is probably enough.
Country music is filled with families that sing.
Yeah, but singing professionally might take all the fun out of it.
I don't know. I think a person could have a pretty good time raking in about $2 million a year.
I don't think too many singers make that kind of money.
A lot more than you think. You ought to give it some thought.
You think Ryan is dangerous?
Yes, I do, Iris. He doesn't care how much money World Oil loses in the process. He is determined to destroy me.
Well, that could be very bad for the company.
That could be disastrous for the company. I think that by the end of the year, if things go this way, Ryan Connor will have destroyed World Oil.
It took Alex 25 years to build that company.
Ryan Connor has this obsession with proving he's the boss. That's why he had to shut down my oil well. Alex's wishes have no longer any meaning to him.
Do you really believe that, Justin?
Yes, I do, Iris. Alex took a big chance in backing my project. He was a man of great vision. You know, Alex and my dad, they started together. He wasn't born a Texan, but he certainly became one. I think that is the trouble right there with Ryan Connor. He doesn't understand family ties, history, tradition.
Those things meant so much to Alex.
Yes. Not to Ryan Connor. I think that is one of the saddest things about this whole mess. All Ryan Connor is interested in is power. Now he's got it.
You think he is truly dangerous?
Yes, I do, Iris. I think he tried to destroy your husband. I think he'll try to destroy you. First opportunity he gets.
I won't allow that.
I'll take action immediately.
That's it for the lunch rush.
Yes?
Yeah, there might be one or two more stragglers, but the dinner crowd doesn't come in till around 5.
Well, that wasn't so bad then.
You changed your mind about being a waitress. No, I haven't. Can't blame a girl for trying. Thanks anyway. Will you tell me when you change your mind? Yeah, I will. If you need me, I'll be in the back doing the receipts. How'd it go?
Oh, I'm about to collapse. It just never stopped.
Did that guy Gus show up here?
Not yet.
Joe, are you sure you're going to recognize him when he does?
Elena, when somebody shoots you, you're not gonna forget their face.
Hey, are you sure that your arm's all right?
Oh, yeah, it's fine. It's, just a little sore from lifting all them pots and pans.
I have a surprise for you.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. I moved back into my apartment at the Aquarius.
Yeah?
And that means no more excuses.
Excuses for what?
For spending the night with me tonight.
Finished it?
Here, Maggie, I'll help you.
I don't want to be friends, honey. I want to be your husband.
No, honey, you can't be my husband. Not anymore. No.
I can, honey, if you let me.
There's something I've been meaning to tell you.